Right, Monday Night Live yet again. It's a merry night live in 2 days' time in terms of the Merry Christmas and events going about in the world and the festive time of the year. It's that time of the year. My name's Avnish Hegde, and we have, of course, episode 59 of the MNL going to be hitting your screens this evening. And what are you guys waiting for? Please like this video before I introduce my two to tango. Nikhil Popat in the right corner. Depends where you're watching from. He's to my left, of course. And Akshay Kumarswamy, as ever, in the other corner. Boys, so much has gone on. So much to get to. Both of you all in terms of a Christmas quiz, a Boxing Day themed one that I prepared. So let's see who comes out on top in that one. Lots to unravel in terms of what's going down under with India and prepping for the MCG test. Akshay has his Howzzaat, and we will talk about everything, including Pakistan's third successive ODI series win, some highlights from the Vijay Hazare, and not to forget the BBL ups and downs as well. First and foremost, boys, 2 days away from Christmas. We all have our wishes from Santa. What are we wishing for this time around? Akshay, I'll start with you.
I don't know what to make of it, if it's a reflection of, my work here, but अचानक से मेरे को RCB win the IPL ही आया यार. Nothing else. I don't know what to make of it, but ठीक है. अभी वो आ गया तो वही बोलते हैं. But all in all, just hoping that we have another year of great fun, great content, and hopefully 100K turns to 1 million. The silver button moves to the platinum button or the gold button, whichever the color is. But yeah, fingers crossed, a great year ahead, and let's hope Santa is very kind and generous to all of us.
All of us, indeed. As a cricket fan, Nick, what is your Christmas wish in 2025?
And may this Jai Mata Di continue. 2024 was maniac in terms of results. So hoping 25 brings the same, along with good health and good cricket content. Because I think this very year we've seen a lot of content. Some of it not so good, some of it not so not so good. So to put it mildly, but okay, we are here. We'll keep trying, and hopefully good cricket content ahead also.
No, absolutely. I think if I had an instant Christmas wish, it would be India to complete a hat-trick of wins at the MCG, because they did in 2018 and 2020. Whether 2024 we'll know in a week's time, and we'll unravel that in the last MNL of the year. So join us next week as well. But right here, right now, we'll take all the comments. Good to see Santosh being the first up in that one as well, saying how fast is this year gone by, lads? It has. For all of us, I can just think about it being last week that I was with Vikas watching India, England, Hyderabad. But now that was pretty much 11 months ago. And there's lots to talk about in this podcast. 2 months from now exactly is what the ICC have penned in as India, Pakistan, and Dubai, Feb 23rd. We'll talk about that and the best of the rest. And we'll also decide in terms of our IPL fandom who is going to be playing that first opening game of IPL 2025. Will it be RCB again against KKR? It'll be the champs for sure, but who will it be? That's the MNL question of the evening later on in the show. Right, let's start with, though, India, Australia, and all the fervor and fever going down under, because we've heard some bizarre things of late. But before all of that, I know Ashwin has, of course, retired. Nix and Som and Vikas did a brilliant sort of live show encapsulating everything he's done in the game. Akshay, word it, Ashwin, with you, just to start proceedings of this MNL. How would you remember him, and what is your fondest memory of the greatest all-rounder we've had?
Yeah, we'll always remember him for the test legend that he was. Him in white ball cricket with his trademark celebration, going down on money and doing this. I'll never forget that. It was something that I'd come to expect of in India. From India in red ball cricket, and to not see him anymore would be a bit jarring, but hopefully India will be able to move on from him as smoothly as they did when, Kumble Bhaji were looked past. The question was who will, be next. Ashwin, took that mantle or took up that mantle very easily, and that transition did not really feel or hit India. I hope that's the case with Ashwin as well. The transition from Ashwin to the likes of Jadeja, potentially Kotian, and so many others coming in from the domestic circuit. Let's hope, they are able to do that. And in terms of my memory, I've spoken about, of course, his dismissal of Nuwan Kulasekara. I know it's not the greatest of dismissals. Not the greatest of batters. It's something that's etched in my memory. Apart from that, of course, can't look past that 2011 auction as well. Ashwin, that's another cold memory. The 2011 auction, jहाँ पे the Malia and VB, sort of tussle. And then there was, of course, Ashwin taking care of Chris Gayle in the final. Who can forget that? Yeah, I was heartbroken, but yeah, that's definitely a very cold memory when it comes to Ashwin.
Yeah, for me, I generally kind of label him as India's greatest ever test captain we've never had. And I think in the 106 tests that he took part in, I think he was always a leader and cut from a different cloth that way. We've always kind of associated with him with words like the scientist, redefining the game, rejuvenating it in many ways, shapes, and forms. The delivery which strikes me the most, lads, is I think the one that he got Cook out. And I think even him as an off spinner has admitted in the past in various interviews that he likes to hit the top of off, especially if a left-hander. How many had them for breakfast? But Cook, I remember that was a peach of delivery to get the lefty. And I think Ashwin's last over at treadmill is what Shubham Gupta is saying in the comments as well, which is etched in cricket folklore with Asha Bogle and comms. Avnish, when you did the interview, Shriyanka did convey to Akshay that 100%. Go check that out. Go check Akshay's interview out with Danny Watt. And there's lots more coming up on Unmind next year as well. Ashwin bossing Smith and Manas in the BGT 2021 was the best moment for Ashutosh. I appreciate all you guys getting chatty in the live chat, and that's how it is on MNL. Ayush Kumar, welcome to the show. Ashwin Amla was Ashwin Bowl T20. That was Vikas's choice in that reel that these guys put out. So lots of personal favorites. Nix has had his say as well. Rehan will take your question when we talk about everything, I think, India-Australia related. And also, if we forget, we'll take it in the 12-man section without a shadow of a doubt. Right. Speaking of Ashwin retiring, there was another man who played one more test than Ashwin and also retired, Tim Southee. Nix, I'll come to you on him really quickly then. How do you remember Southee? Because he also had a really, really good test match career with both bat and ball.
Yeah, I always remember him as top of, most of, his epic dismissal, whether it is his matchup with Rohit as well. He's got Rohit out so many times. And all you can think of is hitting that top of off with that outswinger. So to me, that is a Tim Southee wicket in my mind. And I'll also miss his sixes, to be very honest. I know bowling is his biggest second after Sir Radley, but he's batting those sixes. Not often you have 98 sixes. I know it is far more common in this day and time, but when we grew up in our times, it was still an event. So to me, Tim Southee, the test bowler, 100% yes, but I'll also miss the batter a bit more because he was very, very handy with the bat down the order.
Yeah, over 2,200 runs in tests. I mean, that's always good for a number 9 or 10 like him. So well done to Southee over there. Lots more comments coming through. Shubham going on to say, I remember Southee being bashed by all batters in the IPL, but we're talking about his test match achievements here, lad. Good to great. Always welcome you on this platform. He says, hello, all. Good evening, folks, and great to see you on a Monday Marvel. Indeed. Tell us what your Christmas plans are, New Year's plans are. You guys can use this opportunity to just chat shit if you want, if you're feeling heavy this week or the start of this week at least. Right. Let me just quickly move on and just get your attention to things happening down under, because all eyes are on the MCG in the next couple of days. And there's already chats about the pitch curator not preparing the same pitch that India getting the Nets compared to what they will face on the 26th of December. In fact, I just want to get a couple of things out because first and foremost, do we understand India's combination, Nix, if we look at who could come in or who could go out? I was asking Akshay this 2 hours ago in office, and I think we both agreed that it could be the same team from Brisbane.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't see a reason to change unless there's an obvious niggle to take care of. Because I think Siraj was someone who was under the cloud then, but then there's been enough time. And I think that is one thing that has helped India in terms of matches going over so early that not all of them have been overburnt. So in that way, it's given India a good time to regroup. Changes, yeah, it's very, very unlikely given what you expect of MCG as well. It was slow back then in 2018, but nowhere close to being slow now. Should get good bounce, good carry, and seam as well. So I think Pacers will be the way to go. Only long shot, maybe they would think about for a pacer for Nitish. But again, that's a long shot. So yeah, that's the only plausible change that I can think of.
Okay, we also give you that news which Akshay randomly shouted out and also saying Tanush Kotian, brother, Tanush Kotian. What the hell, Tanush Kotian? So now, Akshay, you make sense of that story. It's a cover up, surely, for just Ashwin. He's not going to be playing the fourth or fifth test.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if he starts for India. I don't think that's the case, but I'll have to still admit I was very surprised by that choice. Not a reflection of Tanush Kotian, of course. He's been doing phenomenally well in the Ranji Trophy the last couple of years. We all remember his exploits with the ball. In fact, a couple of his knocks with the bat as well. If I'm not wrong, there was that partnership with Tushar Deshpande also, runs banaye the. Probably he will be known for his opening stint with Rajasthan Royals this year, given that was the one game that everyone might have seen. But apart from that, in terms of bowling, batting, red ball में उन्होंने काफी अच्छा किया, bowling primarily. But the kind of names are Akshay Patel. In fact, someone here also mentioned, Kuldeep, Akshay. There was also another name added to that list. I was a tad bit surprised कि जरूरत थी क्या? Because if you want to shore up your off-spin bowling reserves, you've got Washington Sundar, and batting के लिए तो तनुष कोटिया नहीं आ रहे हैं. So I'm not sure what exactly is the thinking there, but I'll be lying if I say I wasn't very surprised by it. I was hoping to see someone like an Akshay. Again, tall, lanky fellow. I get that because of him turning the ball into left-handers, and Australia have a plethora of them. That probably might have worked against him in general, just like how Jadeja was not included in the first couple of tests. But yeah, not entirely sure what to make of it all in all, because youngster, maybe they want to groom him early and take care of him. Sort of take him under the wings and develop him into something, into someone who can actually add value to the side in a year or two. But given that there's already Washington Sundar, who himself is not really old. I mean, he's in his late 20s at the very worst. So उनके पास भी अच्छा खासा टाइम है इंडिया को देने के लिए. When it comes to spin, there's Jadeja as well, of course, who's not going anywhere at least for the next couple of years, if not longer. So yeah, I mean, interesting choice. That's all I've got to say.
Okay, it's good to great going on to say it's absolutely ridiculous to bring someone from home just two tests when we already have enough here anyway. Kotian's not going to feature. It's a cover. It's nothing else. We don't have to really be bothered by it. But good on the lad as well, because he's toiled hard in the domestic circuit, and for him to just get a mere call up to the squad as backup cover just gives him a little bit more momentum in his career, I'm guessing. Ashutosh Bajpai asking us this evening, aren't Kotian and Sundar like for like bowling all-rounders? Is Gigi trying to pit players against each other for their sport? Has same happened between Sundar and Ashwin, both getting one test each? I generally feel it's always good to have backups, and India is always a conveyor belt for any cricketer and the subtleties which come with it. It also is something to note about his height. Because you look at even England and why they picked Shoaib Bashir, who didn't have good county numbers. They picked him for certain traits that he would bring in. So who knows? I'm not trying to compare Ashwin, Sundar, and Tanush Kotian in terms of what they've done, but maybe in terms of their facets and idiosyncrasies that could play a part. Sorry, bro. What do you mean by cover when not needed in the first place? Look, Ashwin retired in this series, so essentially just to fill that position in case anything happens. You never know. Fourth test, we have 5-6 injuries. Then Kotian comes in. I mean, dare I say? So basically, just that. On the Australia front next, now we understand that it is going to be Sam Konstas who's replacing McSweeney. First of all, do you think that's harsh and it doesn't reflect well in Australia, who normally get it right with stable selections? What are your thoughts about his inclusion? And then we'll get to Boland.
Yeah, I feel it's incredibly tough on Nathan that you pick a guy who's not even a designated opener and then send him to open, and he's facing Bumrah, and you don't have that. I won't say you can understand why they've taken that call, but it's very, very harsh on Nathan that he bats out of position, does the donkey work, and is left out of the side because the top four or the top three rather, are batting at same pace. That is something we spoke about even before he made his debut. That the margin of error that India get with openers like this will help India settle into the rhythm. So I feel very, very hard done by for Nathan, but I think he has all the makings to come back. Maybe come back at a better spot. For Sam Konstas, I'm happy to hear the noise around him, the hype around him. I'm very keen to see if he wants to reverse sweep Bumrah. Please do it. I have no problem. And that is what makes you watch the game. That if a 19-year-old is out there, he's saying, "I'm not going to watch much of Bumrah. I've seen a lot of him already." Good, just brings the game to life, and it ensures that 5 baje all of us will be wide awake if Bumrah is bowling, because I want to see somebody show intent to Bumrah. It will be a good test for Jasprit as well. So hard done by for Nathan, but he'll have his time, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he's already had his time in the Big Bash League. We'll come to that because
Yeah,
he kind
good
of
knock.
edged a good chase for the Brisbane Heat against, who was it, the Strikers, I think it was. But point being, Konstas is also kind of made his intentions clear, not just in the press conference earlier today, saying that he's excited to face Bumrah. He's already faced him technically in that A game. I mean, not Bumrah, but the likes of the Indian bowlers, so to speak. And he had some sublime shots, Akshay. If you remember that highlight reel from Cricket Australia, I think Konstas was the guy reverse slapping and reverse ramping as an opener. So he has balls about him, this kid. So let's see if he comes good. Let me ask you about the second name that they're going to bring in, because Josh Hazlewood is ruled out. We know that. And Boland and the MCG. It's like if you name a cricketer and a stadium, like how Gill in Ahmedabad or Kohli in Chinnaswamy, it's Boland and the MCG, right?
Yeah, Boland and the G, probably right now, it is match made in heaven. We all remember that spell against England, 6 for 7 or there and thereabouts, the way he bowled. And we all remember the spell, chuck the numbers, just the way he was bowling. He was breathing fire down the English batters' necks every ball. And it's going to be something similar, given that the surface itself at MCG has become a lot more spicier in the last year or so. If you look at the numbers and the games that have happened in the Sheffield Shield, you will sort of see how Pacers have wreaked havoc game in, game out. And in a game that happened just last month, I'm forgetting who was it again. There was Victoria versus New South Wales, if I'm not wrong. Classic old rivalry happening at the G. Pacers were taking wickets every 20 balls or something like that. I mean, in Test cricket, that's maddening. That's absolutely maddening. These balls are going to wicket. So it's not going to be easy, first of all.
Even the Australia A and India game, AA game was in Melbourne, right?
The second one, yeah. The second one. The first one happened simply else. I'm forgetting where it was. But either ways, so it first of all surface spicier. फिर Boland का मसाला अगर आप डालते तो यार definitely it's going to be too hot to handle for the Indian batters. And I'm actually looking forward to that battle. If anything, like our colleague and fellow Australian fan Anirudh Suresh said, probably it's worked out in Australia's favor that Hazlewood's missing out, because there's no way on earth they would have dropped Hazlewood given his form. But you also cannot not play Boland. So unfortunately, this was the only way possible, and I don't think anyone's complaining down under.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting how Boland comes up against these Indian batters, because he is so accurate, like Akshay mentioned. It's almost like if you keep a coin or a handkerchief there, he will nail it every time. So not a bad replacement for Hazlewood at all. So let me just put the boys on the spot before I quiz them. What are your predictions and expectations from the MCG test? Nix, I'll start with you. Do you think Virat's new haircut and the altercation that he had with that journalist at the airport has now brought the king back and we can see him come get some runs? And what about Rohit Sharma, who's getting beaten by Padikkal in the nets? Do you think he'll come good? Because it's important test for these two with now Ashwin moving into the sunset.
Yeah, I think we'll get 250s, one each from these two. And see, you expect that from your seniors, that whenever you are pushed to the brink, and these two are now, no matter what you feel on the outside, Rohit even more so. But even with Virat, he's got one score, but he knows he hasn't looked himself. So I feel with the chips probably loaded in Australia's favor, they will need two of their more senior batters to perform. Hopefully, both of them can get a 50 each. That is my bare minimum expectations.
Akshay, you echo those thoughts, or do you see it differently? Because look, these two tests, even though Australia still have to go to Sri Lanka and have that part of their WTC chances, you think India actually looking at it now and be like, bro, if we beat them Melbourne, Sydney's anyway weather-wise effed, and it'll probably favor our spinners coming into the game. So how important is this test according to you? And more importantly, do you think India will use this WTC as more fuel to their fire?
Firstly, both the tests are important. That goes without saying. I don't think they'll be looking at it that way. And weather-wise, MCG is also no better. It's been raining there as well. The weather's been very cloudy. So we're not sure if we'll get all 5 days off play, even in Melbourne. And of course, we all know that should, both the remaining tests not have any results, then the ball will be in Australia's court, because Australia still have those two tests against Sri Lanka. So they can still win them and go through. That's not the case with India. India will have to try and force to win somehow. And talking about Melbourne and Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, yeah, I really want to echo Nikhil Bhai's thoughts that Rohit and Kohli both will get a 50 apiece, but nah, I think Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, both of them will have failures again. I'm just hoping against hope at this point in time, but I'm hoping that the top three, Shubman Gill in particular, somehow comes good. It's not going to be easy, but I'm just hoping that, as the supposed prince of Indian cricket, it's time for him to shine. I'm not even expecting anything from Virat and Rohit because it's abhi ho gaya abhi. Unka zamana abhi khatam hone ko aaya hai. It's the youngsters who have to prove themselves and actually hold on to their spots. So that's going to be how I'm looking at this. Both I don't think will be doing well. Spicy surface, pacers together. It's going, yeah, and yeah, it's not easy. So yeah, I'll say both will have failures across those 4 innings. Matlab, two apiece across both the innings, and yeah, top three will come good for India is what I'm expecting.
So I'm going to be kind this Christmas to Rohit Sharma and tell him that, listen, I'll give you one more chance in terms of, look, what you've done entirely in your career, great. But now, Rohit, this is the time for you to stand up at the MCG. You've loved this ground in terms of ODI cricket. Can you replicate it in this test? You've not got 100 in Australia. You can get that monkey off the back and probably retire on a high. So I'm counting on Rohit. I'm counting on Virat as well. I know he's got a 169 there at the past 2014 where he took Johnson down into the cleaners, to be fair. And like you said, Akshay, and rightly so, questions for Gill, because off late he's being labelled as someone who's really good at home, someone who starts really well but then doesn't kick on, and someone who's been inconsistent. So hopefully Gill comes to the party. Jaiswal to just come that demon of Stark mentally, I'm counting in him to come good as well. And whether Rishabh Pant really counters those right arm pacers, more so over the wicket, more than around the wicket, because we depicted it last time around as well in our data. So all of those things said and done, I think it'll be a big challenge for the Indian batters, but I'm hoping that they come good and make it a hat-trick wins at the G. Before we wind up this India-Australia chat, plenty of comments coming through as usual, which is always good. I'm sorry that I haven't taken them in a while, but I'll start with Parth saying, hi guys, one question to you. Reckon Australia's batting 16 overs in day 3 cost them the win? They could have declared. I mean, in hindsight, anything is possible, but so yes and no in many ways, but anything could have happened even in that period of play. So again, good thoughts from you. Good to great saying, I feel if Konstas managed to survive Bumrah's barrages, he'll take on the rest of the bowlers to cleaners as he looks ultra aggressive and attitude at 19. Yeah, good point mentioned by you. Sam Konstas is not a limited overs player. He played his first T20 in that game just before he was chosen in the squad for Australia. His last PBL knock was a duck, so don't go by that measure as well. And Arnav Singh saying, trust me, no big score from Virat in the MCG. If you see in the nets, Virat still hitting balls miles away from the body as it was a T20 international. I mean, if you have to kind of gauge a batter just purely through the nets, it's only going to get you somewhere. You'll have to kind of figure it out in terms of just how he applies himself on that day. Newlax with us and saying, do you see Stark resting someone like Abbott playing? No, not a chance. Stark will play. He'll play all 5 tests.
I mean, even if they want to rest them, Abbott is not the option they'll be looking at. There's still probably Jai Richardson or someone like that. If a full and raring Jai Richardson was available, I wouldn't mind Australia replacing Mitchell Marsh also with him. Because Marsh right now, as things stand, is not adding too much value with the bat or ball. There's Bo Webster. That's, again, one of our colleagues' favorite names. But I still think Jai Richardson has a lot of value to add. But again, injury concerns and all of that have not worked in his favor. But Mitchell Stark to bahar nahi jayega.
Yeah, and the thing is, like Nick's also mentioned at the earlier part of the show, where this series hasn't been really taxing for most of the players involved in it, the bowlers involved. I mean, you look at Nathan Lyon, he's not bowled that many normally what he would bowl, and you can apply that thought with the others as well. Last ones, and then we'll move on. If Virat fails here, bye-bye. Enough of saying my king, let him enjoy his life in London and don't need to make a youngster wait for a king which can't score at least 30 runs, saying Vasant Narayan. Appreciate your thoughts on a Monday. Hopefully having a good week, Vasant. But it is Virat's first Ashes test. So let's cut him some slack because ultimately he's always been great against the Aussies. What is the update on the Travis Head injury? I think he's fit. There's no chance we can see. He'll have a beer and pop painkiller at the same time. He's just that kind of guy. And if it's India, he's just like, mate, I'm playing regardless of my injury. So they throw him in. Tiger Rose, you have a good question for Akshay about women's cricket. We'll take that in the 12th man section. And all you lovers of our content, You have so many good points, which I'll definitely come back to in the 12th man question, because we have a quiz, a Boxing Day quiz, which I really want to start in the next couple of minutes. Have we encountered all the chat so far in this section? I think the last one I want to ask y'all is this. Let me just get the comment out of the way. Would you drop Rohit Sharma if he has 2 more low scores at the MCG? Like, say if he gets a duck in 2, or like a duck and duck, or 5 and 10, or even 10 and 14, would you drop him?
15-20 ही ले लो, कोई नहीं. But मेरे को जानना है, are you asking would we drop, or do we think he'll actually be dropped? What's the question?
Would you drop?
मैं तो already drop कर चुका हूँ भाई. और गिरने की जरूरत नहीं है. मैं तो already अभी सोच के बैठा हूँ कि he should.
No, but then if he scores 100 and 114, like.
That's a different thing. I'm saying, as things stand, I would have dropped him after the 3rd test itself. That's the point. So if he has 2 more failures in the 4th test, then I don't know what else are we waiting for. He should. I mean, just solely based on performances and creating impact, he's not been there in the recent past.
So then you drop him, and then what do you tell him, in the sense of Bumrah captain Sydney, and then you just tell him, listen, the writing's on the wall, your retirement's just inevitable, so just hang your boots.
So hypothetically, again, you're asking, what would I do? I mean, who cares, yaar? Abhi aapka ho gaya, boss. Matlab, I mean, I'm not trying. I mean, sorry, that probably sounded a bit disrespectful, but generally, who cares?
This is a man who's given Indian cricket so much, and here's a man who says, who cares? Whimsically on Monday.
Wow, again, bus ke teacher dalna ek baat hai. Avnish does a good job of not just throwing me under the bus, but actually taking the driver's seat and going over it. Personally ensure करता है कि बस भी अच्छे से गया है कि नहीं ऊपर से. But yeah, I mean, see, we have to call a spade, and this goes for Virat Kohli as well. I know कि हर बार मैं रोहित शर्मा बोलता हूँ, and people come at me saying this guy's a Kohli fan. Both Kohli and Virat, I mean, both Kohli and Rohit, if you're not scoring runs, you need to be out. Simple as that. I mean,
I think you can wave a little bit more lenience to Virat, but again, that's a touchy topic because many people will say something. Next, let me just quickly ask you this question, but I'll rephrase it. As our once good old friend said, Rohit Sharma is not in the top 30 T20 cricketers. Is he the top 30 Test cricketers in the country right now?
And see, it would be stupid to just judge him based his current form. Just up till 9 months back, he was not even 9 months, where he was good in February, March when you played England. So I think you deserve that run when you have done so much. And again, recently, it's not that he last performed 4 or 5 years back. So that's not the case with Rohit particularly. As I said priorly, I would give them the entire series, and then you just ask the person if they feel they are there to continue. If they are not and the WTC cycle is ending, you start fresh with 2 people. The dangerous thing that Rohit has done, selfless or what, you can decide is put himself up at 6. Because if he was opening and he did decently well, there was more margin of error for him that, he's doing the tougher job, let's give him a few more chances. When you put yourself at 6, the chances are you are not always going to face the new ball. Now, of course, India's batting has been such that you will eventually face the new ball, but you are making yourself more indispensable. So Rohit Sharma, the number 6 batter, far more easily replaceable as compared to if Rohit Sharma was doing well opening the batting. So to me, that is added to this subcontext. So to me, not another game, just this next 2 tests, and then you take a call with both Rohit and Virat that what do you want to do, and so I'll stick with that, what I said previously. I don't know why Akshay is giving so much.
No, I mean, I must say this was an epic comment by Ashutosh Bajpai. आगे हमारे पीछे पे सीट लगा के चढ़ा तो मेरे I can't stop laughing. It's hilarious. It's just poetic and hilarious.
Good stuff, Ashutosh. Brilliant. Good to great saying. I'm sure Roko is now good enough to play for India Legends team. They're supposed to win the World Cup going forward.
ये big cricket league ये सब अभी आ गया ना. अभी वो भी टेंशन नहीं कि post retirement, midlife crisis, existential crisis. कुछ नहीं. They can play as much cricket. If anything, an argument can be made that retired cricketers are actually playing more cricket than whatever non-retired cricketers. I don't know what the term is. Active cricketers. Yeah, thank you.
Active cricketers. Yeah, I mean, you look at even Robin Uthappa, someone like him who's just gone out of the game, playing the Canary Islands T20, I think it was.
Cayman Islands, Hong Kong Sixes, and then now Big Cricket League. He's got then whatever the Legends League cricket, the World Championship of cricket. ऐसा कुछ.
It's mad. Lots more comments coming through. Keep them coming through. I can't take everything right now because, like I said, let's just, of course, get to the quiz, which is also part of the thumbnail or the title, rather. There is IPL chat around the corner after this quiz in terms of who we think should be playing in the opening game of IPL 2025. Lots more on that. But right here, right now, it is the Boxing Day quiz on cricket.com. So the rules are simple, guys, and I'm going to be the quiz master for this one. Akshay versus Nix. It's as simple as that. And they have no idea what the questions are. It's 20 questions, okay? So basically, here are the rules. 10 to each of y'all. And this is a maximum 15 minutes sort of space. So hopefully you will enjoy it. You guys can also get chatty in the comments, and we'll put this out on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and everything else. 8 normal questions, which you get 1 point for. And there's 2 who am I's in the end for each of y'all, which constitutes of 2 points each. Any good behavior, anything that I like you guys are saying in the course of the quiz, you guys will get bonus points. So then later in the show, Akshay can't banter me saying, oh, bro, you gave Nix the easier questions, so on and so forth. So are we ready for the MNL Boxing Day quiz or what? And Merry Christmas to everyone watching this. Right. So first question, who wants to go first? You guys want to have a little rock, paper, scissors virtually?
इतना lag होगा कोई नहीं कैसे भी you decide अपनी take a call.
Okay, fine, cool. I'm just gonna go and pick Nix as my first question, right? Okay. Who was the youngest player to make a Boxing Day Test debut post 2000? No negative marks, so you can have.
We both take turns, or just one question per person, and then you move on to the next question.
No, both take turns. You guys have 2 bites of the cherry for each question, and if you guys get it, get it. If Nix exhausts both of his, then you can go for it, Akshay.
Sure.
This is not related to India or Australia. This is just overall, right? Overall,
overall. They could be Indians, it could be Australians, it could be South Africans, but it's overall. It's a World Cricket Boxing Day quiz. MNL special.
इंडिया की तो पता है मेरे को
पास ज़्यादा नाम भी नहीं है to be honest.
Exactly. मतलब थोड़ा hint.
We'll have to. Okay, man. I'll give you a hint. This happened in 2011.
2011.
Yes, the youngest player to make a Boxing Day Test debut. This is post-millennium, of course. You guys can key in your answers. Many people already saying Parthiv, no Parthiv, not Naseem Shah. South African, no, not South African.
2011 है. So I'm pretty sure I've narrowed the country, but जो player मेरे दिमाग में I know when did he make his debut, तो वो तो नहीं है, but वो उसी time पे उसने debut किया था.
Okay, so go on, Nix, give me a shout.
Can't get one name, bro. Pat was before that, no? Pat didn't start. Pat started 2011.
Yeah, 2011, but Pat. Okay.
People saying
South Africa.
Hughes, people saying Naseem Shah.
Pat तो नहीं था इतना पता है. हाँ. Pat South Africa था मतलब in South Africa वो series. I'm pretty sure it's England. But I'm trying to think 2011-12 Ashes. Australia में वो नहीं. Wait, 2011 December. You're saying 2011 he made his debut.
11.
हाँ, तो मतलब इंडिया के सामने था भाई.
अब वही तो इसके लिए तो मैं समझ रहा हूँ कि कौन था वो ऑस्ट्रेलियन.
वे अपनी तरफ से तो किसी ने भी डेब्यू नहीं किया. Oh, I know.
Ashwin youngest नहीं होगा यार.
Vinay Kumar.
No, so are you guys guessing or what? This.
No, we are contributing.
आपस में discuss कर रहे.
Every time you say the wrong answer, there will be like a bump sound.
Oh, that's what I was hearing. Okay.
Yeah. No, Vinay Kumar may have played the Boxing Day test क्या निखिल भाई?
नहीं यार पर्थ खेला था ना वो तो.
हाँ पर्थ खेला वो तो. अरे कोई ऑजी होगा यार ऑजी. पैटिनसन.
No, are you done?
Yeah, that's it. अभी इससे ज़्यादा कितना guess कर?
I'll go. I'll use comments. Add comment. Jai Mata. Right, wrong, Jogi.
Okay, so the comments, there were some right, there were some wrong. The right answer is Pat Cummins.
Oh, I
It
mean,
was
comment. Just watch it.
Wait, you're saying Pat Cummins made his test debut
yeah.
on a Boxing Day test against India?
Yeah.
हाँ,
रुको भाई मेरे को अभी चेक करना
check
है
करना
यार.
पड़ेगा. ये check करना पड़ेगा.
Am I being right? Can we check that?
Yes, please.
मैं वही देख रहा हूँ क्योंकि मेरे को I distinctly remember that South Africa series. Let me just, I might be wrong. Just confirming it.
This is the
possible,
only
right?
one out of my 20 questions I felt was a little tricky personally.
अरे South Africa था भाई, लिखा है इधर. cricket.com check करो.
So South Africa, when was his debut?
This
in South
November
Africa?
17.
November,
November 17.
a month before this Boxing Day test.
So is it Ed Cowan, producer?
अभी
Producer
मेरे को sorry.
The
The quizmaster, the
The
quizzer.
quizmaster has got the first one wrong. So I'll tell you what I'll do. This is basically points to both of you all for pointing out the error.
But what is the answer?
Ed Cowan is the right answer.
I thought how is add comment तो मेरे को थोड़ा एक extra point मिलना चाहिए ना.
नहीं,
So
हो
I'll-
गया, equal है.
I'll give Nick's 2 points here, and I'll give Akshay 1 because they've
हाँ,
stumped the quizmaster on the first one. But I promise you, from now on, there's no fuck ups in the quizmaster. It was just one done and dusted. I've got that out of the
We
way.
have bigger margin now, Akshay.
This is also to just randomly check the people's intellect in the comments, and I love it. I love how everyone was just giving me all the answers, and Greg saying Avni Shaikde is a fraud quizmaster. Let's not go down that path yet. I might be if I get another one wrong. Okay, so let's move on to the second question. This time's Akshay's turn. Who was, or rather, who are the only 3 Indians to win a man of the match on a Boxing Day test?
Oh, all time.
All time.
मेरे को तीनों नाम बोलने.
Yes.
ओ भाई, एक तो रहाने है 2020.
Yeah.
ओके. एक क्योंकि इस पे मेरा एक्सप्लेनर अभी आएगा थोड़े दिनों में, तो मेरे को याद है सचिन तेंदुलकर ने एक जीता है. तीसरा I feel it's a very obvious thing. I'm just confused. वो है कि नहीं है वहां पे यार. It's between two. I know for a fact it's between these two, but I'm okay. भाई आप पे इतना भरोसा किया, इस बार ये भी करते हैं. बुमराह.
Yes, well done. Bumrah was. So Bumrah in 2018, Rahane in 2021, and then I think Tendulkar got one as well. I think in the 90s. Scored 116th.
Yes.
So it was a good one there. So Akshay gets a point. So he goes to 3. Next is 2 after the first round. Even though we shouldn't have given Akshay that extra point, but it's okay. Maybe Nick's good behavior will get some bonus points in the end. Ayush Kumar, you got that one wrong. It's not Sehwag. It is Bumrah instead of Sehwag. Tiger Rose getting that one right. Right. Time for another question, and this time it's Nick's turn. Question 3. Australia hosted Pakistan in the 2004 Boxing Day test, but what else happened in the world that day? It's a straightforward one.
I feel I know this.
Massive breaking news that day in the world, which happened on the day 1 of this test match, Australia-Pakistan 2004 Boxing Day test.
मेरे पास तो उसके लिए ट्रिविया भी है, बता. I feel I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself, but देखते हैं.
Natural calamity का related है, तो फिर the answer is the obvious one, tsunami वाला.
Tsunami next. He's got that one right. I'll tell you what. 2005, they played the tsunami appeal Jan 10th. So this is 14 days later after that whole horrible incident. And do you guys remember that match well? Dravid got a 75-71. It was pretty top.
It was Australia versus World 11, something like that, right?
No, it was Asia versus the rest of the world.
Oh, yeah, Asia versus the rest of the world, yeah.
And it was brilliant, man. Like, just the fact that there was Dravid, Kumar Sankara, Ganguly, I think Sehwag was there was Moin Khan, and I mean, the rest of the world won that game, but it was a good cause in the cricket community. Right, so Nick's getting the points and moving to 4 points. Well done. Akshay's turn. According to Wikipedia, Akshay, which Boxing Day test has witnessed the most attendance at the MCG? You can name the year.
Can I know the number? Attendance क्या था?
271,000 something.
अरे capacity 1 lakh over
I'm
the
basically
entire
saying
test.
the entire test.
Overall.
100,000
Overall.
capacity of the stadium, but like overall in terms of how many people went across 5 days.
Again,
I can give you options.
Is it the? See, I have two options. Two options आप बता दो.
1975 Ashes, okay, 2013 Ashes, 1998 Boxing Day Test, or the 2011 Boxing Day Test, India Australia.
11 तो पक्का नहीं है. 75 पक्का नहीं because till 1990, sorry, till 2000 I know what the record was. I'm just trying to think lately what are the years I thought of during. I'll go with 2013 Ashes. 2013 Ashes.
Yes, it is 2013.
It's
Well
right.
done. 271,000, like I said, across all 5 days. The previous one
Second
with
is
that
1990.
19,
No, 1975 or 85. Australia, West Indies.
75.
265,000.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Cool. So Akshay moves on and just overtakes Nix in this one, but Nix can come back. Both have done with their 2 questions each. They still have 6 more. Nix, simple question to you again. What was a bizarre thing to happen between Australia and Sri Lanka in the 1995 Boxing Day Test? Something crazy happened in that Test match, which the world remembers till today. Can you remember it?
I feel
हैट्रिक वाला वो Daryl है.
Yes, well done. Mulidan Dal hai is the right answer. In fact, he no-balled apparently 7 times.
7 times.
Yes, 7 times in 3.
Which is ridiculous. But it also happened later down the line in 1998 where Ranatanga lost it in an ODI in Australia, similar by and all of that. So Akshay gets the points, moves on in that one. Over to you then, Akshay. Nikhil gets the points. Over to you, Akshay. In the 2003 Boxing Day Test, India and Australia, which Indian batter was dismissed for a golden duck in the first innings?
ये तो देखा भी नहीं है मैंने
What, you didn't see that epic series?
नहीं
एक नाम तो ऑब्वियस है, एक नाम तो ले ही सकता है, तो बाकी कोई
वही मेरे को मतलब एक ओपनर पता है कौन था, दूसरा ओपनर कौन था मेरे को नहीं पता ना तब के टाइम पे अपना कौन था.
And this is a trick question. I mean, essentially, my producer also caught me out saying, shouldn't it be batters? And I was like, yes, but let's see if they get 1 out of 3. If they get 3 points for them.
Oh, which Indian batter?
Yeah. All first ball ducks. If you remember that test, Sehwag
So there were 3 golden ducks in India's first innings that day.
Yes. That was the same time Sehwag scored that 195. The construction was happening at the G and all of that shenanigans. But now Akshay is Googling the scorecard. Hard hoti hai vencho.
शर्म कर लो भाई. इधर प्राइवेट चैट में एक मैसेज था, I just wanted to confirm कुछ आवाज का है कि नहीं, कुछ तो मतलब कुछ तो
Very crazy saying Akash Chopra. No, surely Chopra's there. No, it's not Chopra.
I'm just trying to think. Dravid, Sehwag. Did Tendulkar play that? Yeah, he did. Of course, the 194 or 200. Sorry, the 200 against in Sydney. ठीक है. I'm just trying to think which comments में सबके नाम है, तो मैं सोच रहा हूँ किसका नाम लूँ इसमें से. I have absolutely no.
Ashutosh Bajpayee is wrong, but yeah.
अगरकर is a good shot, but अगरकर का वो सारा डक्स का कोटा उसने 99 में खत्म कर लिया है, इतना मेरे को पता है. So it won't be अगरकर. Let us go. I'm trying to think if I should. Did Ganguly play that?
एक नाम तो ले भाई, मतलब जो सब.
No, did Ganguly play that? Genuinely asking.
Yes, he did.
He played that series. He started off the series with a brilliant 144 Brisbane, bro. What are you saying?
Oh, okay. So let's go with Ganguly.
No, he's not one of the Indian batters. Your other guess?
Parthiv Patel.
Yeah, okay. Give you that. Super. So you got You got one. Can you get two more?
So
Two more. Sachin?
Yeah.
And Sachin, was this the controversial dismissal? This is asking. I have no clue.
No.
The Steve Buckner?
That
No.
was Brisbane.
Oh, that was Brisbane. ठीक है, एक आखिरी वाला कौन हो सकता है मेरे भाई? ठीक है, let us comment से हम ये audience poll जो भी बोलते हैं वो लेते हैं. अजीत अगरकर बोल ही देते हैं.
Yeah. Bhupesh is.
Oh, thank you, Bhupesh.
Those three. There were actually two other Golden Duck batters for India in the second innings, but I'm not going to go there. But the first innings, the three answers are right. So Akshay gets his points. Let's move on to Nix's question then. Nix, in the 2005 Boxing Day Test, which player walked off the field after being hit on the head by a Bretley bouncer but returned to bat later? The clue here is that obviously Australia South Africa happened that day, so name a South African batter.
Torn between Boucher, Kalisa, AB, but मेरे को याद नहीं है तीन में से कौन होगा.
मेरे को तो आइडिया भी नहीं भाई, मैं टेस्ट तो देखा ही नहीं है.
मेरे को याद नहीं है मेरे को भी. I'm just trying to take a good guess.
Logical guess.
AB तो नहीं, मतलब बहुत जल्दी आ गया उसके लिए भी, पर स्मिथ और कालिस. I'll go with Kalis right on, Ruby.
Yes, Jack Callis it is. Lots of people reckon Bora De Villiers, a lot of people said De Villiers, McKenzie, good shouts in the chat, but it was Jack Callis who did that. Remarkable again. Normally people think about even Graham Smith and that's SCG test where he got hit on the arm when he came out to bat, but Jack Callis, of course, over there. I don't know why the fourth mentioned that.
Random points के only reason why I guessed it was somewhere I had written on that spell that Tinter bowled to Kalis where he could not spot the ball. And बस वही एक recollection में था कि किधर तो कुछ तो लिखा था about Kalis walking off and coming back. तो एकदम random guess बट गया. चलो चल गया.
Hilarious, super. By the way, New Relax was asking same question of the question master. Why is Boxing Day called Boxing Day? Multiple stories, as the legend would have it. Essentially, it's basically all the remaining food or the gifts and the leftovers of Christmas, which would be packed and given to the staff and all the servants about. So it's always a good initiative. You can look at Boxing Day test history for more stuff, and Akshay's putting out an explainer which will solve all your doubts. Right, time to move on from Nix's question to Akshay's question. What unusual event occurred during the Boxing Day test between New Zealand and Sri Lanka in 2006 at the Hadley Oval?
भाई unusual event when it comes to New Zealand Sri Lanka test match तब के ज़माने का मेरे को एक ही याद है. I'll go to that. Sangakkara, the run out, Murli run out. Sangakkara,
No.
Unusual event.
This has never happened in Boxing Day test history before, by the way.
Okay.
No Ashutosh Bajpai, there was no earthquake in 2006 there, unfortunately.
Unusual event, what is this, cricketing or what are we talking here?
It is technically cricketing, the reason that I'm looking for, but I know once I give out the answer, it'll be like cricketing kaise aaye or whatever. So essentially, I mean, because cricket's a sport where weather does play a part, that's a big clue. So all I would say is that.
I have a random guess.
Go on, next.
Yeah, Nikhil bhai, go for it.
Did sun stop play or something like that? Or reflection or something like that?
I want to give points, but both of y'all have got this one wrong. So I'll tell you guys the answer. The fact is, play was abandoned completely on day one due to rain and not a single ball being bowled. In fact, that's never happened on day one of any Boxing Day test. I mean, this rain, of course, intervened in those games, but at least the ball's being bowled. So that was that. So it remains 6-5. Let's see if Akshay can make this one count then. Out of the last 7 Boxing Day tests that South Africa played at home, and they're going to be playing one more this year against Pakistan, how many have they won, Akshay, out of the 7?
This is going to be super difficult.
And I want your answer in 10 seconds.
Okay. 7, matlab all of these have more or less been played in Centurion. I'll say 4.
Okay, that's a wrong answer. Next.
I'll go with 5. 5,
That's a wrong
7.
one.
Don't know wrong.
Yeah. The answer, my friends, is 6. The only one that I, of course, was checking which they lost was to India in 2021. Thanks.
India, I know they lost one. I was expecting India से अगर हारे तो और कहीं तो हारे ही होंगे करके मतलब ठीक है.
हाँ, मैं 5 or 7.
Remain 6-5. Back to Knicks then. Knicks is a simple one. It probably is top of your memory. Who took the final wicket in India's historic Boxing Day Test win at the MCG in 2020?
Siraj?
No, that's the wrong answer.
2020 last ball Rishabh तो बुमराह होगा फिर मतलब बुमराह it was a short
मेरे हिसाब से तो बुमराह होना चाहिए but I have absolutely no recollection कि last wicket
Ashwin was first ये अरे yes ईशान शर्मा sorry ईशान शर्मा और कोई पेसर बचे
पेसर ही होना चाहिए जरूरी नहीं है ना ठीक है see
अश्विन मेरे को नेथन लैंड याद है
what was the bowling attack I'm trying to think Ashwin था शार्दुल played
एक ही बचा प्लेयर शामी और
ठीक है तो I'll take Ashwin इतना Ashwin बोला ऑडियंस बोल के साथ
Ashwin it is Ashwin like that was a rainy I think affair at in the 2021 but Ashwin,
I saw the highlights just a couple of days back.
Yeah, even I
didn't helping me
see the highlights, but I think Ashwin bowled Hazelwood saying Ashutosh Bajpai can vindicate it.
Oh yes, shit.
Ashwin it is. Alan James, good to see you. Ayush Kumar, good to see you. Akhil Tiwari saying Natarajan, no, it's not right, but still remains 6-5 in Akshay's corner. Again, straightforward one to you. Oh, sorry. Nicholas. Yeah.
No, but ये 2 point फिर अपने को मिलेगा ना. Ashwin बोला मैं.
You mean Ashwin? Yeah, fine. Because all the chat's helping you. I'll give you the points over here, and your question next is
6-all.
Yeah, 6-all. Let's make it fair. Which is the only Indian city to host a Boxing Day test on December 26th? I'm saying December 26th because there've been plenty of tests happened. Say December 22nd. I'm not counting those as answers, which is started on the 26th.
गलत होगा तो पाप लगेगा पर ठीक.
What year was this?
I can't tell you that.
That's a clue.
Okay, 1987. 1987. Let's see if it matters to you.
1987 clue अगर होता है.
I'll think Avnish. ये मेरे को
1987 में भाई मेरे को सिर्फ इतना पता है कि इंडिया प्लेड पाकिस्तान and सुनील गावस्कर retired Bangalore the 96 and all of that. मेरे को वो टेस्ट के अलावा इंडिया का कुछ पता भी नहीं कि इंडिया बॉक्सिंग डे टेस्ट यहाँ किधर खेला.
Nick has messaged me the answer and he's got it right. He's got it right. And he said it. Akshay, you've taken too long. You've got it wrong. What he said, Kolkata, he's already said the answer.
But wasn't it my turn to guess?
Yeah, but the 10-second timer, you overran it. The quizmaster has a final say, lad. So he gets the call.
इसलिए मैं उसको मैसेज किया. उसने बोला right तब फिर मैं जोर से बोला.
Fine, so Nick's question, he's 7-6 up right now. Nick's name 3 doubles.
Sorry, 8.
7-6. Name 3 double centurions in the Boxing Day test who've also coached in the IPL.
Ricky Ponting 8.
Yes.
Cook hasn't coached anyone in the IPL. इसके पहले ग्रैंड येलप था, उसने भी आईपीएल में कोच नहीं किया.
So can we keep taking guesses or?
Yeah, you guys can. Whoever can beat each other. The contest is also the
Both
time.
of them, if you have the answer.
Is
Ponting's
Langer
one.
a part of it?
Yeah, Langer got 250 against England.
Mm,
Ponting 257 against India 2003. There's one more.
Who else? Who else? Who else?
Not Lehman.
I'd be very surprised अगर लेमन ने डबल सेंचुरी मारा होता in general, let alone Boxing Day test. Who else has coached IPL? Yaar?
Is it a
Because
South African? Yeah,
I'm
Australian.
only Aussies.
Sorry, no. Sankara is the wrong answer. Also, no.
Who else?
Yeah,
ठीक
Kirsten
है,
का
maybe
double
we
century
wrap this up and next one. मतलब we'll go to the next question.
Dravid, no.
You can tell me what pass.
Ankur Kumar gets it. Kirsten, hey, Kirsten, it is 275 is what he got at, I think, Centurion it was against England 1999. So Kirsten Ponting
I
Langer.
think that is still the highest score in Boxing Day test. Forgot completely.
Yeah, it is. It is indeed. Right. Let's ask Akshay how good his geography is in terms of Boxing Day test questions next. Name at least 5 venues to have hosted a Boxing Day test, which basically means starting on December 26th. Day 1 is December 26th.
कोलकाता एक हो गया.
Okay. I'll give you one.
MCG.
Yeah.
Kingsmead Durban. Then Centurion.
Yeah.
Port Elizabeth.
Okay, super. 5. He's not putting any New Zealand ones. Let me also tell you, fun fact: the last Boxing Day test which happened in Pakistan. Also,
Karachi.
right? Yeah, Karachi, where Babar got runs, Kane got runs. It was in there. Right. Let's move on to Nix's question. There's 1, 2 more, and then we'll move on. In the 2003 Boxing Day test in Wellington between New Zealand and Pakistan, Nick, name the men who took 6 first for their sides. One is famous, one is not so famous. 2003 Boxing Day test.
So it's one apiece, like one Kiwi and one Pakistani?
Yeah.
First name is Shane Bond? Okay.
No. Unfortunately, no.
So it's
Pakistan का obvious नाम ले लेते हैं. Bakar Yunis?
No. Akshay, you want to guess?
Shoaib Akhtar?
Yeah. He got 6 per and he got a 5 per in the second innings. He was also the man of the match of that match. So who's a New Zealand pacer? This is a wild one. If you get it, it'll be great.
Do we know him? Like, have you heard of it?
I mean, it's a very...
Darryl Tuffy was the name I had in mind.
So do you want to go with Darryl Tuffy?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
It's wrong. Actually, Noodle Hacks with Vasant has got it right, saying Ian Butler.
He played in 2003. Oh, wow.
He did. And Krishna Gopal's got it also right. Tread Matter. All you lovers of the MNL quiz is now suddenly coming out of the closet. They're all like knowledgeable lads. So Butler and Akhtar it was. And again, all of those spells stand the test of time in Boxing Day test history. So good on them. 2 more questions each. I mean, 1 more question each of this round, and then let's move on. Akshay, question to you, right? Steve Waugh has scored the most runs in Boxing Day tests, but who has the most centuries? Now, if you were paying attention, I think our producer gave it away in terms of Pakistan earlier. And I was just like, why did he put it there? But you would have seen it. Yeah, so 5 seconds to give me an answer.
Okay. I have no clue what did he say. So, going by, what do I say? Let's just say Matthew Hayden.
Jack Callis?
Yes, it is. Callis got 4. And amazing from Callis also because like he's played so many Boxing Day tests across the world, which I was also paying close attention to. Final question of this round, and then the winner takes the final round. Next, over to you. Which year saw a Boxing Day ODI instead of the traditional Test match?
1989.
Oh, well done.
Australia, Sri Lanka.
Good job. Good job, lads. So, producer, can we just have the reminder?
Homework
The
well
score? I think Nix is in the lead right now, a slender lead, but albeit he is in the lead. And then we'll move on to the Who Am I to see who wins this particular quiz, which has been fantastic. Right. So, Who am I? And this is where I'll give you guys one hard and one easy one each. Who wants to go first?
How does it work? Like, what do you give?
There's two that you have to answer.
Okay.
So you tell me you want your easy one first or your hard one first. Both of them have 2 points each.
Anything works. Take your pick.
You decide. Yeah, you decide.
All right, so I'll give Akshay his easy one first. This is your Who Am I? I've played for Deccan Chargers and opened in a Boxing Day test for India. Who am I?
Oh, no, but no, that was Sunrisers Hyderabad.
Same.
Yes. It's a good shout. Rhodes is a good shout.
देखो इतना मैं खुश हो गया अरे हाँ यही होगा फिर लगा फिर नहीं वो तो Sunrisers Hyderabad.
How can it be Simon's Krishna Gopal for India?
India,
and thank you, Neural. Good questions. Cheers. I got the first one wrong, but apart from that, it's been good.
Opened in a Boxing Day test for India.
You have to lock in your answer. Yeah, come on. This is your easy one.
अबे कोई नाम तो आ जाए to be clear एकदम clear नाम नहीं आ
Deccan Chargers. What more do you want?
Deccan Chargers. There are at least 3 names in the audience, like comments that all make sense. I'm just trying to think. 2018, I know who opened. 2020, I have absolutely no clue. I don't remember who opened. मतलब, ठीक, I'll go with Rohit Sharma.
No, it isn't Rohit Sharma. It's VVS Lakshman, 1999 against Australia. He opened with, I think he opened with Sadagopan Ramesh. He must have, or Devang Gandhi, one of those. Nonetheless, next, you want your easy Who Am I now or your hard Who Am I?
Same. Easy. Same.
Easy Who Am I for you. My Boxing Day record is decent, next by 4 tests khela hu, 21 wickets liya hu, and I got a fifer as well. Fun fact, I've also appeared on this channel, cricket.com. Who am I?
4 tests, 21 wickets. Graham Swan.
No.
And the 4 tests to nahi hoga.
No, I mean, I think Swan also played maybe 5 or 6 Boxing Day tests, maybe more. But this man.
I can't take a guess.
You could. Now, Nix has exhausted his. You could come in.
Darren Goff.
Darren Goff it is. He got a fifer in the 1998 Boxing Day test, 21 wickets and all of that. So Akshay gets the points over there. Now it's time for Akshay's Who Am I hard question. And this is a good one. My first test and my last test was a Boxing Day test. Who am I?
ये मैं ही खत्म कर दिया ये तो तुरंत खत्म हो गया भाई अबे
Who is this lad?
I'm just trying to think, is there any way for me to even...
I'll give you a clue. This happened post 2010. I mean, his debut and his retirement had happened pre 2020. 10 years. Everyone's guessing Dhoni, no. Mayank, no. Damon Martin, no. Zahir, no.
So this guy played multiple. You're saying this guy has played multiple Boxing Day tests. That's for sure. Not same test. First last this
I think he's only played 2 Boxing Day tests, but he's only played 9 tests overall in his career. But his first test was a Boxing Day test, and his last test was a Boxing Day test. Chris Tremaine, no. Steve Waugh, no.
Chris
Hughes,
Tremaine,
no.
Ayush, wow, that's some guess.
Joe Burns, no.
I have no clue how to even. Bro, even to make a guess, this is too like.
His
these are
last
too
name
much.
starts with B.
B
And he
or
was
D,
a
sorry?
B.
B बोला. Adam
And he was,
Moses मेरे दिमाग में भी आया था नहीं. Adam Moses तो पक्का नहीं है.
and he's a
मेरे नंबर
pacer.
ऑफ कोई नहीं चला गया.
And he's a pacer.
B.
Yeah, B.
बहुत मन है देविया बाटलेट बोल दो बट ये रिटायर भी बोल दिया तो क्या?
And he's not played the IPL ever.
That I can imagine. अगर रोहित टेस्ट खेला है.
Hodges, Brad Hodge, no. Johnny Bester, no.
पेसर बोला है.
Devendra Singh, you've got, I'll tell you what, right? You've got the initials right of this man. It's one of those questions that Anirudh Suresh will ask. Sorry?
James Bradshaw क्या जो भी इसका नाम है.
No.
वो तो वेस्ट इंडीज था ना ब्रैडशॉ.
Not Joss Butler, not Johnny English.
और है कौन भाई बोलने के लिए भी कौन है मेरे पास नाम.
Joe Byrne. It's one of those things that Anirudh Suresh will mention in the office saying, would you take this guy in his peak in your team and all? You know, like one
Jackson
of those.
Bird.
Yes, Nicky, he's got it. He's got it. Lots of people trying to get it in the comments. No one getting it. Jackson Bird 2012.
Yeah, thanks to Anirudh का conversation क्योंकि मेरे को I recalled it from there.
Brilliant, super. And then finally, let's give this was Akshay's, right?
Yeah.
So Nix has his remaining Who Am I and his hard one. Nix, I'm a T20 World Cup winner. I played the IPL and I made my test debut in a Boxing Day test. Who am I?
अरे देश तो बताओ है मतलब इसमें तो लाइक
अरे वो कितना मैं किधर ऑस्ट्रेलिया सोच रहा हूँ पाकिस्तान इधर जाएगा.
If I tell you the country, it's an easy win.
How is it an easy one? Like,
this guy's only played 3 tests in his life. He played 1 against Australia, which was his debut, and then he played 2 against India at home, and then he retired. He still plays like franchise cricket in the world. He sometimes commentates as well.
Pinch?
No.
3 ही टेस्ट तो नहीं खेला होगा यार.
Not Reina, good to great.
You said 1 against Australia and 2 at home and then he retired.
Yeah, 2 at home against India and then he retired. Vedang Arkirkar, he's not going to be the new head.
2 at
Konstas.
home, 1 against Australia.
Guys, please like this video, all you guys watching. And I know it's like
please.
a festive Monday and you guys are loving this quiz, but still.
Country के बिना तो like there's just no direction. Like
ठीक है तू एक guess कर लक्ष्य फिर let's get the country ताकि दोनों का एक ऐसा exhaust हो जाए.
Yeah, and Shaunak also tell me in the private chat what the scores are.
T20 World Cup winner.
It's simple देख पहले वाले में से कोई है क्या? नहीं.
क्या?
Or it could be. तीन टेस्ट में खेला. एक गेस ले ले फिर अपन कंट्री पूछ लेते हैं.
किसका नाम मतलब 3 टेस्ट में अटका हूं मैं. I can't think of players who might
ले ले.
Stokes, Jake Ball, no, none of these guys. How is Jake Ball a T20 World Cup winner? Ankur.
क्या पता भाई.
क्या पता है पता है. I know Jake Paul's won a World Cup.
Is it Craig Keyspater?
No.
Keyspater.
I want y'all to remember the name of this guy.
Carlos Brathwaite.
ये नहीं allowed है.
ये क्या है भाई? ये क्या है? Insane. So well
Nobody
done.
gets this.
Nobody gets it right. Nikhil is the winner, is what my producer tells me. Akshay, if you want to beat him, you have to answer these 3 questions really quickly if you have a chance. You want to take it?
Sure, go for it.
Nikhil's the winner of this quiz. If you get these 3 questions right and the chat, then I'll give you and the chat the points. But you have to answer them super quickly, okay? And this is from Anirudh Suresh, so he's had an Australian spin on it. So your question number 1, rapid fire. Here goes. In a Boxing Day test, the MCG, only 3 Indians registered golden ducks while batting in the top 6. Can you name them? In the top 6.
Golden duck.
Yeah. We gave you one earlier.
Sachin.
Correct.
And 3, the 2 more who registered golden ducks in the Boxing Day test, the Indians.
I can get one name.
You can. Go for it.
नाम है मयंक अग्रवाल.
No.
Sorry.
भाई तू मैं क्या बोलूं?
Do you want to give up?
Dravid. Let's just go for it. I mean, might as well.
No, not Dravid.
11 में और कौन था भाई? 11 में मेरे को लगता है कोई ना कोई तो गोल्डन डक मारा होगा इतना. सहवाग?
Yes. No. RCB's captain this year.
Kohli.
कौन? Faf.
Kohli. How's Faf here in this year? Anyway, and Prabhakar is the other one. Your second question out of all of it, the rapid fire. In the last 32 years, only 2 bowlers have taken a 10 for in a Boxing Day test, the MCG. Who are they?
10 for. Bowling, did he take?
No.
Yeah. No. 6 किया था भाई. Did Bumrah take? Was it the 1-5?
Overall or only India Australia?
Overall.
No. Overall.
एक तो एलन डोनाल्ड है ना शायद 12
No.
wickets.
But Donald's taken in other at the MCG.
अच्छा हाँ sorry at the MCG. वो तो इंडिया साउथ अफ्रीका.
So it is, my friends, Pat Cummins, 10 for 97 against Pakistan last year, and Dale Steyn, 10 for 154 against Australia in 2008. Brilliant. And the last question of this whole fun and games on Christmas, which batter has hit the most sixes in a single innings at the MCG in a Boxing Day test? RCB man played in 2015 for us, played in KKR this year.
This year? Rahane?
No.
Sorry, RCB man. Stupid.
This man has hit the most sixes in a single innings at the MCG. It came against Pakistan 2016. He smoked 7 of them. He's played for RCB before. He's played for KKR before. Who is this guy?
अबे स्टार की है लॉजिकली 2015.
Yeah. स्टार बताओ भाई. स्टार कभी सोच रहा है क्या है?
No, I saw Stark in the comments and then of course I was trying to think of commonalities. Wow. कितना मारा? How many sixes did he hit?
7. 7 against Pakistan in 2016. Right, so that was a quiz longer than expected, but well done, Nikhil, and hopefully you guys racked your brains at home in the build-up to Christmas and this Boxing Day test. There's more to come on cricket.com, by the way. Right, let's move on to the best of the rest because there's plenty to chat about still with regards to everything going on in the world of cricket. Champions Trophy, England picking their squad. So let's move on to that part of the show. And it's time for you guys to ask us questions as well. Let's go. Right, I want to start with the IPL essentially because we've been debating this in office and we wanted to just ask you guys as well as a chat. Now, we know the dates of IPL 2025, albeit 2026 and 2027. They've made the periods clear. So this one starts March 14th and goes on to May 25th. Now, I was actually looking at the history, Nix and Akshay, about IPL opening fixtures, barring the first one, as in like the 2008 one saw Rajasthan win it, and 2009 saw MICSK as an opener. All the other IPL opening games have had the champion feature in them. So it'll obviously be Kolkata Knight Riders. Against whom is my question. Now, if you look at historical data again, Chennai played it, I think, 9 times, the opening fixture. MI played it 8 times. KKR played it 6 times. This will be their 7th. And RCB played it 4 times. And this will be their 5th in case that happens. So my question is a simple one. For you and Akshay, who do you guys think is going to be playing the opening game? Next.
KKR and Punjab.
Veer Zara. You think they'll market it like that? No chance.
They'll market it Shreyas Iyer versus whoever it is. So that is what I think.
Oh, like that. That's a fascinating subplot, actually. Because when I was asking Akshay before he left office, he was like, bro, it has to be either the big 3, MI, RCB, CSK with...
It'll be that. It'll definitely be that. I'd be very surprised if it's not KKR versus one of the big 3. They
could be
need
MI then logically, वैसा सोचे तो, मतलब in terms of rivalry, but
also, all you lovers watching this, get chatty in the comments. I want to hear from y'all as well, because I know all of us have a subjective take on this, but that's the question tonight we're asking y'all. Who should play the opening match of IPL 2025? Do you want to see, I don't know, RCB KKR? Apparently, according to Gautam Gambhir, that's the biggest rivalry in IPL history, where I certainly disagree. I think it's RCB CSK all the way. I don't think RCB CSK will happen, even though it happened last year. It happened in 2019. When else did RCB CSK happen? Only just twice, right?
Yeah, openers. RCB played in 2017, 19, 21 and 24. Tournament
You know the
openers.
most boring opening fixture? I think it was Deccan Chargers, Kolkata.
Versus
2010.
Kolkata Knight, 2010. Chamintawaz took a wicket off the first ball.
Dirty game, bro. Dirty game. Owe Shah scored runs, and they got runs after a decent thing. The other opening game which comes to mind is Brett Lee getting Umukchan bowled, 2013.
no chance.
2017, RCB SRH, it's a repeat of the final, which no Kohli, no De Villiers, no anyone there.
2012 MICSK was also boring, to be honest. That was also very boring.
2018 MICSK was a good one.
Oh, yeah. Kedar Jadhav with that flick.
I was there.
More than that, what gave me happiness, even though I'm an RCB fan, but CSK beating Mumbai, was Dhoni just high-fiving Faf.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was actually incredible. CSK versus RCB, since they want to milk it, but that can't happen, Saresh, because KKR will be playing it. And there's also rumors that...
Again, to be clear, it's not the rule. It's been the norm so far, but agar unko aisa TRP ke chakkar mein unko milk karna hai, so it always can happen.
No, the only thing that they might say it can't happen is because there was a rumor that Eden Gardens might be going through a renovation during the IPL for the 2026 World Cup, because I think they're penciling that as one of the semi-finals, potentially the final as well, with the Narendra Modi Stadium also as a candidate.
But apparently it will be available for the IPL.
So then I think it'll be KKR versus someone. So who is that someone? Do you think RCB is front runners?
I would probably put MI, given that rivalry. I do agree with Nikhil Bhai on that. KKR MI.
KKR MI is a one-sided rivalry, bhai. What rivalry?
So is RCB CSK, bro. Ek match jitne se rivalry nahi hoti.
No, not as much as MI KKR. For sure.
Fair. But I think they could even just go with SRH then, because there is...
Good shout. Good shout. Repeat of last year's
final. Last time we saw a non-RCB, non-CSK, non-MI tournament opener. I don't think it's happened since 2010.
2025.
11 CSK played, 12 MI CSK, 13 was KKR Delhi. Yeah, 13 ke baad nahi hua. 14 was KKR MI. 15 was what? 15 was KKR versus someone. 15 was not KKR actually. 15 was KKR versus someone.
Yeah. Reki is saying, isn't it always the finalists to play the openers in the following?
It used to be a norm before. In fact, it was a rule before, but then because it became very hard to follow, they just moved on.
Okay, but I generally feel, even if you look at last year, fine, CSK won the competition in 2023 and they had all the rights to host it, and the final was in Chennai. But my question is now, if they want to kind of make it a hot seller, I like how there is that whole Shreyas Iyer against his former team. I don't even know who KKR's captain is. What, it'll be Rahane versus Kohli. First game of the
Rahane.
IPL. What's the scene? Either I don't mind KKR CSK, to be fair.
Yeah, sure. It's the Rahane derby.
The Rahane derby. Dhoni, every time he goes
Rahane
back to
Moeen Ali.
gets a lot of love there.
Rahane Moeen Ali derby. Sorry.
And oh yeah, Moeen Ali's also gone there. Biggest feud of the last year, Goenka was run back, absolute cinema.
So LSG DC.
DC versus LSG हुआ तो बाप रे.
CSK was GT was the opener in 2023. 2024 is RCB CSK, right?
CSK, na? Yep.
Yeah. So that's that. But look, our guess is as good as yours. I would want RCB to play the first game, but I don't think it's going to happen. And it's also important to note that if KKR get MI, let's hypothetically say that's the first game, then they'll make sure RCB and CSK's games will be against different teams and not exhausted in the first weekend. Because you remember the last time when the fixtures came out, they had RCB CSK on a Friday, they had GT MI on a Sunday night, and they had another banging game on a Saturday night. So they'll probably do that, I'm thinking.
Fair shout. Could happen. That could very well happen. I know Punjab DC was a noon game. It was probably RR SRH, if I'm not wrong, one of the other night games. That was also fun. So dekhte kya hota hai.
Okay, fair enough. Any other IPL news that we just want to quickly run our viewers by? Sanju Samson spoke quite a bit in that AB de Villiers podcast. Now, one of the things he said, Nix, is that he wants to share keeping duties with Dhruv Jurel, and it'll be the first time he's going to feel as a captain. Generally, do you think that's a good move, just to take some weight off Sanju? Do you think Dravid had a word there, or how do you see it?
I found actually rather interesting because Sanju is cementing his place in the side as the keeper back. So, really keen to know what is his thought process there. No problem him sharing the gloves. The only bit is now this angle comes in about him being India's keeper. If he wants to stay as the first keeper bat, might as well just keep in. And again, so you can understand that keeping an opening is difficult for so long in the 14 games. Maybe they can share duties, but I just hope he's thought that India lens is very thinking. Finally, he's got a good run. I don't want that to end because he stopped keeping. So that is my only caveat there.
Okay, fair enough. Elsewhere, lots of CSK lads doing good things. Gaikwad got some runs in the Vijay Hazare, which we'll talk about. Samir Rizvi got a bloody double hundred in quick time, 97 balls. Yeah, and he's with Delhi. They let go of the man who they bought for what, 8.4 crores in the auction?
Yeah, last year. This time he went for 50 lakhs.
Yeah, unfortunate. That will come to the Vijay Hazare bit in just a moment. Any other IPL news, Akshay? I know RCB have been sending their scouts everywhere as much as possible. And I've been hearing these rumors about potential injuries and replacements. Now, how do fans normally validate news? Like, for example, Lungi Ngidi, we bought him as a replacement. Obviously, he's not a starter, but he's apparently injured, and they're already hinting at his replacement being a Devol Brevis. I mean, how do we validate news? How do you validate news as an avid RCB fan?
He just calls up and asks people, "Kya puch raha hai?"
Do you follow anyone on Twitter, Reddit, any exclusive sources that you can tell us?
I mean, it's a bunch of different accounts, and I wish I could take names, but I don't have names off the top of my head. और कुछ तो हमारे साथ काम करते तो अच्छा नहीं होगा ऐसा नाम बोलना. But I'm just trying to think sources to कोई नहीं. I don't think there are exclusive sources as such. But I hope it's not Devol Brevis coming in instead of Ngidi, because it makes little to no sense. एक तो ब्रेविस खेल नहीं सकता, ऊपर से तुम बॉलर के बदले एकदम ही एक बैटर को लोगे तो your bowling reserves, you will be short of bowling reserves. So yeah, I mean, there are accounts online and there are a couple of people I know who work with RCB. So उनके through ऐसा backdoor channels open रहते हैं जिनसे हमें पता लगता है. That's all. It sounds very exclusive, but I don't know anyone in the team, just to be clear. Just we hear things and you just trust each other on whatever information you get and hope that what they're saying is not entirely
false. So is this
most
person
humble?
No,
Sorry,
this
this is the most humble.
So you go on.
And this is the most humble Akshay has ever been on an MLL clip. The last 20-30 seconds.
No, he's treading on, fine ice, if I have to put it that way. But with all your sources from RCB, can you tell us if Rajat Patidar is going to captain? Because I feel if you look at RCB squad, it's only Kohli screaming out as a leader. Who else can captain?
Yeah,
Not
but if he doesn't want to captain, he doesn't want to captain, right? Like if he like we don't know what the scene is exactly. I do agree with you. Kohli I ideally would be the captain here, but if he says no, then it has to be Rajat Patidar because he's the only one with some experience. Bhuvneshwar Kumar also has prior experience captaining even at the IPL level, but I don't know if RCB would be looking at that as an option. With Rajat Patidar, he did not do too badly for MP, both as a player and also as a captain. Like the way he handled himself, it seemed like he thrived under responsibility. So that those are always good signs. So, I mean, it peak at like I said, apart from MS only, I'm yet to come across a captain and maybe to some extent Owen Morgan. Though his format में tactically value add कर पाए. So I don't see there being a lot of difference if you get your basics right. And again, Virat Kohli, even if he's not the captain on paper, he's a part of the leadership group. So field placements, bowling changes, tactical calls, he's always going to have his say. So I mean, have her say, not have his say. So ठीक है ना वो चलता है. So who cares who's the captain on paper as long as he's giving your inputs, he's being a part of the leadership group, and you're taking decisions together. ठीक है सिक्का उछालने के लिए तुम पाटीदार को भेजो तुम किसी को भी भेजो क्या फर्क पड़ता है.
no, man. I think we have
Sounded
always
like sorry,
our
this sounded like Sangakkara sending Jayawardene for a coin toss. But
No, I think they will give it some thought in terms of RCB's captain because that franchise, even though it's not won a single IPL, it comes or seemingly comes with a lot of PR and advertising. So let's wait on that another day. Let's move on and tell you guys that England have, of course, named their squads for the Champions Trophy and the India Series. And it features not one, not two, but three RCBians. And they've also removed ex-RCBian and Will Jacks. He's not part of it anymore. So I don't know what Akash Ambani was doing when he stood up and he shook the hands of, who was it? Rajneesh? Prathamesh? Prathamesh. So anyway, names on the table, and it looks something like this: a Butler, the captain, Archer, Atkinson, Jacob Bethel get in there, who played beautifully in the Melbourne Renegades shirt today. Brooke, Stuckett. CSK is Jamie Overton, Jamie Smith, Liam Livingston, Adil Rashid. Joe Root comes back. No Stokes, remember, but Saqib Mahmood, Phil Salt, and Mark Wood complete the run. Does that spell Champions Trophy winners or no? Contenders?
firstly, I never thought in my life I would look at an England squad with the second thought of three RCB players. Almost every time, yeah, RCB, yeah, Chennai, yeah, Mumbai. But that's just the time of life. Very interesting squad. With McCullum being in charge now, probably his first squad announcement, and you can see plenty of test spillovers, which is very rare. Usually, it's the other way around that you have different ODI and white ball players coming through into the test side, which has been the case. But I don't know if they're contenders. A lot of these have tried and tested. They haven't worked in the past. Maybe it's a new combination. Ben Tuckett right up top did not got out first ball in the BBL game, but very very early to take a call there. Baki, so Jamie Overton is a very very interesting name. Stephen Fleming, if you see the auction, Akshay, everybody almost saw it that they definitely wanted Jamie Overton. So definitely a lot of good form going with the Jamie. But let's see how they go in the ODIs. I think the lack of ODIs doesn't help because you don't know what are the tactics and what are teams thinking. Because the last ODI India played, they were Jai Mata the OP with left, right, and all of that. So let's see first how they go about it. Then we can take a call if they are good enough for Champions Trophy.
Because we all remember how England performed in that 2023 ODI World Cup in India, and many people thought that there was time to say goodbye to many of those players. You look at, say, Johnny Bairstow, for example, or David Milan, Jason Roy. They were all just, anyway, going out of that ODI squad. So now, hopefully, with some younger blood, this England team can contend in more in the Champions Trophy. I don't want to get Akshay's thoughts about England's squad right now because I just want to get his thoughts about the Champions Trophy because I just talk about it. It starts exactly 2 months from now. At least India's game is. 19th of Feb is the first game, Pakistan, New Zealand. Let's just quickly, 1 second, have we got, where is the Champions Trophy news? Yeah, so essentially, what we know is, Akshay, hybrid model, India and Pakistan will play each other, but in Dubai on the 23rd of Feb. India have Bangladesh in their group. They also have New Zealand in their group. The other group involves Afghanistan, Australia, South Africa, and
England.
England. And England. So now, do you agree with everything in terms of what's happened, what's not happened, all of it?
All I'm happy about is the fact that once and for all, they've set precedent and they've made it clear that this is how the process is going to be. And अभी हर ICC event के पहले सुनने को नहीं मिलेगा कि what about India, Pakistan, what about this, what about that. Now it's clear. It is slightly messy, but clarity is so people, I mean, boards and all of them can get their arrangements in place beforehand. So that's no more an issue. But the fact that in the next 5 years or rather 4 years, till 2028, there's the men's T20 World Cup, the women's T20 World Cup, and of course the Champions Trophy that's happening right now. 3 events that are going to happen in India or Pakistan. And then there's the 2031 ODI World Cup if you sort of go a bit further down the line. इतने इवेंट्स तुम्हें खेलना भी है यहाँ पे, साथ में तुम्हें ये सब भी करना है. It's whatever, ठीक है. I सह लेंगे थोड़ा सा. And probably the only downside to that is कि UAE will see more games being hosted. But ODI format के लिए ठीक है. I don't think UAE is too bad for ODI. T20s is where we tend to sort of see a lot more singles and doubles and dots than bounties. So वहाँ पे it will be slightly tougher. But ODI is whatever. That Asia Cup that happened in 2018, it was a pretty well hosted, well covered Asia Cup. देखने में भी अच्छा था. The 2018 में जो ODI format में था. So it's fine. It's okay. मतलब जो भी है, it'll be a bit of a hassle for the other teams if anything, because India, Pakistan, their games have been designed in such a way that travel is accounted for. But with the other teams now, उनको कराची लाहौर बीच में एक दिन के लिए दुबई जाके आना है, so it might be slightly trickier for them, and they might not be too happy with it. But पैसा भी वहीं से आता है, so I don't think they'll complain about it.
Man, I have whatever they've done. I think they should have played India, Pakistan, and Sharjah just for the retro sense of it. So many games India, Pakistan have played in Sharjah. Why the Ring of Fire in Dubai? We've seen it, like Akshay said, in the 2018 Asia Cup, and we didn't want to say it in the same venue. Even Abu Dhabi would have been fine at it, but like India, Pakistan needs to go different cities. It can't just be in these constant cities in the big cities anyway. So, Greg saying, I can see BCCI pulling strings, making sure India play all their matches versus Pakistan in India itself come those 2026 tournaments. I know in practice and theory, they've said it's a start of the hybrid model and all that now. But do you think now it's a win-win for everyone? India doesn't go there. Pakistan still have all the games at home and are hosting a whole tournament after 1996. So do you think all parties are happy, or still do you think PCB are miffed with the BCCI?
I think all parties are just relieved, to be very honest. Money is what is happy. And if money is happy, all the boards are aligned, because, again, as Akshay rightly pointed out, far from ideal from everybody involved. You have to think of other teams also. They can't be the ones who are packing and packing just because two people can't play together in certain venues. So I would have ideally just wanted this to go to a completely new place where everybody is together, and then you can distribute the money and whatever that is, where you only stay as the host and then you get the money and that's all. But again, far from ideal, as Akshay said, हमको stand भी लेना है पर हमको खेलना भी है, तो this is what it is. And to be honest, this has gone on for so long that I have honestly lost interest के भाई खेलो बस खत्म करो. It's got to that stage with me. I don't know where you guys are, but to me it's like, भाई ठीक है भाई, done. Let's just start playing.
Seriously, it's high time to get on with it, and it's faster approaching than we think. So 19th of Feb, pen your dates down. Speaking of Pakistan, let's talk about them a little bit, guys, because a lot's gone on with them in ODI cricket. I know that they beat Zimbabwe recently. I know they beat Australia recently, but they've blanked South Africa at home and beaten them hands down. They lost the T20 series, but they've come back in style. Sam Ayub was part of all of it. We'll talk about it right now in the next 4 or 5 minutes. We'll also show you some stats which has emerged from this series. Now, whitewashed, and understandably so. Asian teams to win ODI series in South Africa as a whitewash. Well, look at that. India did have success in that 2018 tour, but they did manage to lose one game. And I spoke about Sam Ayub, absolute gun player to watch in the next couple of years because he was in dazzling form to say the least, and it's contrasting emotions for his opening partner because Abdullah Shafiq, another duck, 3 ducks entirely in the series. He overtook Imran Nazir, who had 6 in a calendar year, and he's gone on to have 7 this year. He's still not broken Dilshan and Gibbs's record of 8 ducks in a calendar year, respectively, in those years, I think 2012 and 2000, right? South Africa, Pakistan. It actually is boding well for Pakistan now that they're hosting the Champions Trophy and they're getting some 50-over form under their belt. So, Akshay, I'll start with you. People are saying South Africa, yeah, they didn't play with their full strength team. They gave like Kwena Mafaka a debut and all these kind of young boys. Corbin Bosch, I think, played the last one. And Babuma was captain. So how do Pakistan reflect on this? Or do you think, again, they're building up to that 50-year tournament in 2 months' time and everything is seemingly all right?
A bit of both, to be honest. I wouldn't put it against South Africa for trying players. अगर bilaterals में try नहीं करोगे तो कहाँ पे करोगे? That's my outlook, and fair. Good to see that at least someone is not too bothered about ensuring that they are, flooding the cabinets with bilateral trophies. That's not necessary. The idea is not just to hand out debuts, but to try new people and see what works, what doesn't work. With Pakistan, of course, they will be thrilled. They'll importantly be even more happy about the fact that Babar Azam has been amongst the runs. भले वो अच्छे strike rate में ना आया हो, the fact that he was able to break, what was that, a 17-18 innings or drought where he not scored a single 50, he finally got to his 50. काफी slow था वो भी. The funny part was 50 के बाद और slow हो गया वो. And then eventually he started accelerating a bit before he got out for 74, if I'm not wrong. Rizwan has always been amongst the runs. ODI is the format that's best suited to him. So that way, no surprises there. Sam Ayub, bhai, matlab, I remember seeing him properly for the first time in the 2023 CPL. PSL maybe because I've not, extensively followed the PSL. I haven't seen enough of him. Maybe the odd glimpse here and there. In that CPL, which his team, by the way, won, Guyana Amazon Warriors actually won. He played a big role there. And काफी अच्छा वहाँ पे भी किया था. He looked very much at ease against most lengths, against pace, against spin. So that way he's got, technique-wise bases covered for white ball cricket especially. Aggressive bhi hai. So that is even more important because we've spoken about how Pakistan have been far behind the curve when it comes to white ball cricket. Good to see, players like Sam Ayub coming in because these are the kind of names you want to see. And even Abdullah Shafiq, I know he's had a horror bilateral series here against South Africa, but he's not a name that you should look past. Abdullah Shafiq, Sam Ayub, ये दोनों हैं नाम जो who can actually score runs at a brisk pace. We all remember what he done even during the last World Cup. तो भरोसा रखिए, धीरज रखिए, थोड़ा time दीजिए. Just don't quickly write him off and move past him because it is it is sort of a very consistent theme that we see across the Asian subcontinent, not just Pakistan, not just India, not just Sri Lanka. हर जगह हमें देखने को मिलता है जल्दी they tend to write players off and move on. Also a factor of how big the talent pool is. इतने सारे नाम हैं तो एक को consistently मौका देते रहना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है and you sort of get confused. But I hope that Abdullah Shafiq is persistent with, and yeah, along with Sam Ayub, they will be two youngsters to watch out for.
Okay, interesting. Next, did you observe anything from a Pakistan lens? Because they gave a few debutants, I think, came in. Sufian Mukim, I think, got 4 for wrist spinner. Love to see left arm wrist spin. Generally, is a subtlety in the game. Pakistan have found one. And again, when you look at that Champions Trophy, it's going to be Asian conditions. So it's good to kind of get all bases covered. Babar's getting runs. Rizwan's amongst the runs always. So Pakistan are actually not looking that bad, right?
Yeah, 100%. And again, as Akshay rightly pointed out, sometimes it's just identifying the right players from the pool and then backing them to get the job done. Now, you saw Shaheen look more like what we have seen of him in the past in terms of him getting the swing, him getting his lines very, very right and getting wickets off the full balls. So that is good. I am very interested to also see how much bowling Sam Ayub does. He bowled 10 overs for 34 odd runs in that last ODI, truncated one. It meant they did not have to bowl Agha Salman, who took wickets in the first inning. So you are starting to see a mix of, now whenever you think of Pakistan doing well, you always see one good left-handed opener, plenty of good all-rounders who can bowl spin, and you can see that kind of template being back in the business that, okay, this is something that's continuing to come good for them. Sufyan Mukim is someone that I'm really interested to see how much they're backing. Only played one game so far in this format, but has looked good. So, so far, so good. Interesting to see how they manage Naseem, because I continue to feel he's too too crucial a player to play every format in that sense. So maybe they can just preserve him. They have Hasnain who came back, who came in this series and took wickets also. So let's see. So far, looking good in terms of ticking boxes. Opener wala bacha hai. Fill ho jayega hopefully. It's good enough.
Yeah, remember this tour's not done yet, because if South Africa managed to win one test out of the two that they will play Pakistan, they will go and book their seat at Lords to play the WTC final against whoever, India or Australia, by the looks of things. So let's just quickly touch upon that and what are the WTC implications, because we focused on this last week with the standings. Nothing much has changed, and obviously all eyes on the MCG test of India and Australia. So is this a clear South Africa 2-0 series win written all over it, Akshay? Or do you think Pakistan can do India a favor and be like, hey, listen, you guys want to go to Lords, we'll help you?
Favors them, chodo, but yeah, I do agree. South Africa definitely start favorites for me, given how they played against Sri Lanka, their pacers, and the performances in general. Temba Bavuma being the pick of the batters there. Probably it's that batting that they'll be slightly worried about. Also because against Sri Lanka, at least there was some breathing space. Lahiru Kumara ke alawa, none of the other bowlers looked just as penetrated. Might not necessarily be the case here against Pakistan. If their pace attack comes good and on their day, like if Pakistan decides to do Pakistan things, they can very well put up a very strong showing against what is not exactly a very competent batting lineup for South Africa. So they will be relying on their bowlers to make sure they take 10 wickets quickly, innings in, innings out. But I would still back South Africa. Jo bhi ho, because of how Pakistan have performed in tests. We all remember that Bangladesh series at home, not too long ago. So wo ek hai, wo rahega somewhere at the back of everyone's heads. But I mean, I wouldn't count Pakistan out. That's for sure.
Even history goes against them. When I look at this Boxing Day test that they played in South Africa, they played 3 before. They've lost all of them by 8 wickets, 10 wickets, and 6 wickets or something like that. So good luck to Pakistan beating South Africa and still giving India another entrance chance if you have to look at it from that regard. I want to ask next a little bit on the Zimbabwe Afghanistan ODI series, because I know lots of noise being made from Allah Ghazanfar. Is he playing that series?
He took a fiver very handsomely, and that's there you go. It was so good to see him just continue to come in and just perform as like an autopilot thing.
Yeah.
We'll have a very big IPL season, I feel, for Mumbai, or potentially the biggest game changer in terms of someone who will come in as a mystery, at least for one season. By the time people figure it out, might be 7-8 games done, and he could have already won you 2-3. So him coming good is good, but as good was Sadiqullah Atal, who had a great century. So someone who has continued his good form in the past and gone on and make big runs. So slightly perturbed by the kind of options Afghanistan pick in terms of they don't always back their paces, but that's okay. I mean, every country has their way to just back what they feel works for them. So you see, sometimes their pacers don't even bowl a lot of overs. They get wickets, it's spin, they're like, go, let's just go spin heavy. So, but that is okay. That is something the team will figure out in the long run. But happy for Sadiqullah, and of course, Omarza also took wickets in the game that got abandoned. So well done to Azmat as well.
I mean, I'll hold up my hand and say that I don't watch Zimbabwe Afghanistan ODI or T20 cricket, but if they play test matches, I'll watch it. In fact, they're playing one. Rashid's going to be playing test cricket after ages. So he's going to be playing in Bulawayo, I think, or Harare. I think the first test starts in 3-4 days' time. So let's move on quickly. Just revisit the Vijay Hazare, Akshay. What have you liked? Iyer scored 114, but then Karnataka beat Mumbai chasing madness, 383. I tried to get the highlights of it in Geo. There was other games going on. Ishan Kishan went mad in one game. Like I said,
Yes, Prabhu is having mad, by the way. 74 of 22.
Yes. So what else caught your eye in the VH?
Zyada dekha nahi hai. I've been actually for the first time following the senior women's ODI trophy a lot more extensively, and thankfully आज का और कल का गेम स्ट्रीम भी हुआ था तो काफी कुछ देखने को मिला. कल नहीं परसों का विजय हजारे जितना देखा मैंने, of course सुयश प्रभुदेसाई fantastic knockout, she did for for Karnataka, good to see. And our Smaran guys, please watch out for Smaran. He's definitely going to be the next big thing from Karnataka. And oh yeah, IPL update अगर देना ही है तो maybe an interesting fact or tidbit was कि जब वो RCB का trials हुआ था during the SMAT that happened a couple of weeks ago, Smaran was actually part of RCB's trials. And जो board होता है ना जहाँ पे they allocate everyone sessions who goes first, Smaran went out ahead of some of RCB's first choice options. So Smaran went ahead of Rajat Patidar, if I'm not wrong. He was paired with Jitesh Sharma to face all the top tier bowlers, which clearly means RCB have kept a keen eye on him. Left-hand batter, bats at number 3, number 4. Had a fantastic season for the Gulbarga Mystics, if I'm not wrong. He played for them in the Maharaja T20 Trophy. Solid bat, good red ball cricket में debut किया इस बार. काफी अच्छा रणजी ट्रॉफी भी गया है so far. Has a very compact technique, looks very easy on the eye. So fingers crossed, good things will come from him. He scored a century today. तो वो भी काफी अच्छा खेल रहा है. And apart from that, nothing much. मतलब नए नाम ही देख.
कैसे nothing much? How did you not mention Krunal Pandya scoring 80?
80 or 54 or against
80 or
Meghalaya?
54? Kerala.
Kerala. Sorry. Yes.
No, but like some lots of crazy performances. The guy who went unsold at the auction, what's his name? Anmolpreet Singh.
Anmolpreet Singh.
Urvil Patel also scored a century.
Urvil Patel is also good, and that showed that wasn't a flash in the pan when he got that world record or whatever. But this Anmolpreet Singh also, he got 115 or 45, which is madness, bro. Against Arunachal Pradesh.
Yeah.
That's also madness.
अरे ठीक है यार, सबका फिल्टर लगाते बैठेगा तो कोई बचेगा नहीं यार.
Exactly, because you
then I didn't say it's bad.
Because even
but then the smirk, the happiness turns into a smirk.
Smirk nahi, it wasn't a smirk. I just meant you can see why. It seemed like you guys were saying IPL teams are dumb to not pick him. So I was just trying to see what.
See, bro, I think it also depends on how you look at certain records. Like I remember when, who was it? Jagdishan last time he scored like a crazy 100 or something. You know what the boys in office said? They were like, yeah, look at the ground he played at. It was a college ground somewhere in Coimbatore.
अरे बस के नीचे डालना बंद करो मेरे भाई. वो ऑफिस के प्रेसी में बोला ये मस्त कॉन्फिडेंटली ऐसा ट्रक चलाते हो क्या हाईवे पे, क्या चल रहा है?
But nonetheless, good to great, saying kudos to all three of y'all who run the show with the same energy right through our different topics. It's hard, but great stuff to you guys. It's all hard if you love your job, if you love cricket. We watch it passionately, sometimes dispassionately, but nonetheless.
Series comment also, by the way, important point. Manish Pandey, unfortunately, this is the first time we'll be seeing the Karnataka side enter the field without Manish Pandey in 18 years. Sad that he didn't get, I wouldn't say farewell match, but kuch to ek hona chahiye tha, something just to commemorate the legend that he's been for Karnataka cricket. A bit sad about it, but yeah, all in all, fantastic career for him in domestic cricket. Did well in whatever limited chances he got for India. Another what if, he could have probably gotten more chances there. But he'll be. It's a career he'll be proud of for sure.
No, indeed. Let's quickly move on in the interest of time then. Pava, I will watch this. I know I just saw the thumbnail as well on my phone. It looks like a really good watch. Atherton, Hussain and Ashwin for 1 hour. So I'm guessing Ashwin's done an interview with Sky before he's done it on his own channel. But that's where money comes calling in, innit? I reached out to Ashwin's mum and hopefully she's a good lady. I think she'll give me her time and her son's time maybe down the line sometime in the future. So subscribe to cricket.com and like this video, guys. I know it's a less of a viewership because everyone's everywhere in the world. I know you guys will probably catch up with us tomorrow, day after, maybe after Christmas. But nonetheless, whenever you're watching this or hearing me on Spotify, like this video. If you guys are on Twitter, jump on YouTube. We're 100 away or less than 100 away from 101K on YouTube, which is amazing. We crossed 100K 2 weeks ago and it's going still well from here on. Right, final thing in the best of the rest before we move on to Akshay's quiz and then take your questions in the 12th man. The BBL, we spoke about Jacob Bethel in just a bit and how his 30 of 22 today was good. We did speak about McSweeney and his 78 for Brisbane in that chase. And Cooper Colony has been doing a lot of things right. Someone who Knicks likes quite a bit, Cooper Connolly. There is also Melbourne Stars not getting any wins so far. Bert Scotchers is doing Bert Scotchers things. So, Knicks, over to you. BBL highlights week 1.
There are two things: strikers versus Daniel Sams. Then he did 34 of 12.
Oh, Thunder.
Thunder.
Who was
Matt Shot
captain?
gives the ball. Matt Shot. So Matt Shot gives the balls to gives the ball to Lloyd Pope. Gets hit for 31 runs. I'm like, wow, bhai, this is beyond imagination. How would you do that? Again, see, he came back in the next game and he got them.
And he, the thing is, next game again, उसको फिर से दिया ओवर में क्यों? आपके पास है option.
Matt Shot opens the batting, opens the bowling, captains. He feels in hot spots. I mean, it's quite crazy. It's quite crazy what he does.
Fantasy pick number 1. You just have to you just have to pick him without worrying about anything. But this just tells you how much big 2024 still people are stuck with plan A's, and that is something you can't do much around with. Even today, you saw Perth Scorchers game against it was a Marvel Stadium. I don't know how I enjoyed low scoring games, but that was not the one that I enjoyed at all because lottery bana doge, so then it doesn't make for much viewing. Still, Cooper Conley played well, so I'll give it to him for that.
And also the problem was this time around BBL, by the way, हम सब office में तो रोज देख रहे हैं because there's nothing much going on and timing अच्छा है एकदम. I reach office at around 12 o'clock, 1:30 the game starts. So मस्त ऐसा पूरा match दिखता है. Today, what I didn't like was the surface was not equally difficult across both innings. First innings it was seeming so much, so it seemed like okay, second innings will be difficult. But second innings so उतना आसान, उतना difficult था ही, मस्त run बना रहे. But good to see Fraser McGurk. There were a couple of ideas I had in mind in terms of how bowlers can target him. I was looking at some of his numbers. In this year, the guy has not scored any run. He scored 0 runs behind square against spin. His numbers against spin are very poor. This was outside the power play. In the power play, he's gotten a couple of bounties thanks to the field restrictions and whatnot. And then his numbers against slow ones, there are particular, sort of tweaks that, not tweaks, sort of quirks in his technique that mean that, it's easy to target him and it's easy to, get him out, which has happened so far. And apart from that, of course, Jacob Ethel, आपने कहा, Cooper Conley भी आपने कहा, but it was great to see Sam Konstas' debut for the Thunder. That was great to watch. मतलब काफी अच्छा talent है. Won't be surprised if he actually comes good even in the T20 format as well. People look at him as an all-format player already down under. So you never know. We can see him doing well across the globe soon.
Yeah, plenty of crazy moments in the BBL. Tune into it. Sometimes just because there's no other cricket, you guys just think, oh, the BBL is just a shit show. But it's a really, really good show in terms of skill. Even if you cast your mind back to today, I was watching the game and I think one of the fielders took a blind Harvey.
Was it cover? Was it mid wicket? The flying left hand.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Albeit, I think there was a bloke who hit 3 sixes of the off spin of someone back to back.
Davis hit that of Todd Murphy.
Yeah, brilliant, man. Just to see a little bit of action like that always kind of just gives you some moments as a cricket fan. Though BBL is up and running, but it lacks the essence of an IPL for some reasons, maybe slow outfield. Also the fact that it doesn't have lucrative cricketers. The IPL always just dominates because it has all the cricketers under the world. Insane. Pawan Suresh, we'll take all your kind of questions of this and plenty of the others that we missed in the 12-man section. Even though we've overshot time in this Christmas special of the Monday Night Live, it's always good to be with y'all and good to create random questions. Why Akshay outman out with black tea tonight to compete with the other two? I'm wearing blue, by the way. It gives you an impression of white, but it's actually blue. Nix is wearing white and black, but he's always in the gray area. If you know, you know. Dave Agarwal saying, first time watching you guys. Dave, like this video and subscribe. Tell a friend about cricket.com. We're just here and doing great things. We have some good content coming out for you this week. There's whole video about the Champions Trophy. There's a whole explainer about the Boxing Day test. There's going to be a live Hindi show as well. So what are you waiting for? Jump on to cricket.com. Right, time to jump on Akshay's quiz in 2 minutes after what to watch this week, because there's lots of women's cricket also happening, i.e., India versus West Indies. India absolutely humbled them in the first ODI in Vadodara, making Vadodara have another stadium, 221st stadium in the world internationally, which is the Kodambi Stadium or Kidombi. What is it called?
Pronunciation तो हमें भी नहीं पता है. Spelling पता है. I can give you the spelling.
What is the name of the stadium, yeah?
It's Kodambi. इतना पता है मेरे को. बाकी
Kotambi Stadium. The Kotambi Stadium. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. But what else is to watch this week? We'll get that on your screens right now. Zimbabwe, Afghanistan, like I said, first test starts this week. South Africa, Pakistan will be a compelling one. So there are 3 Boxing Day tests, essentially, which is always good to see. India, Australia, by the way, is a 4:30 a.m. start. I mean, we've seen a 7:20 a.m., we've seen 5:50 in Brisbane, but now we're going to see 4:30 at the G, and every one of us will be up for that. Are you guys up, though, for another small quiz this MNL? We always have that as a staple, which is Akshay's Howzzaat. So what are we waiting for? Let's move on to that to see if you guys can get his question tonight. Right, Boxing Day theme, I'm guessing, Akshay. Take it away.
Thank you. First, let's have last week's Howzzaat up. There we go. So last week, of course, we spoke about Zach Crawley and his poor numbers against Matt Henry. The question was ID which male batter has the best record run scored against the bowler since 2000? Numbers, we shared the numbers with you, of course. It was 240 odd runs of 412 balls and hadn't been dismissed even once. The answer, of course, was Sir Alistair Cook against Tim Southee. And a lot of you got it right, so kudos to all of you. But like always, this is one lucky winner. This time around, the lucky winner is SS98. So congratulations on getting it right, SS. Do get in touch with us on Twitter, and our social media team will do the needful. Coming to this week's Howzzaat, like we said earlier, Boxing Day test के theme में हमने एक question बनाया. So let's have a look at that. कहाँ पे है ये question? There we go. Of the 49 Boxing Day tests that have been played in this millennium, only 3 players have collected 2 Boxing Day Player of the Match awards: Dale Steyn, Matthew Hayden, and Mitchell Johnson. And outside them, only 1 player has collected 3 such awards. ID the player. So काफी simple. Not too many of them have won multiple Player of the Match awards. Only 3 of them have collected 2: Dale Steyn, Matthew Hayden, and Mitchell Johnson. And only 1 has collected 3. So I want you guys to guess who that player is. Like always, please wait for the live stream to end to key in your answers. In order to stay eligible, the live stream needs to end, and you guys have to enter your answers in the main comment section. And then one lucky winner will stand to win a cool 500 rupee Amazon voucher from us. So yeah, that's from this week's Howzzaat.
That's amazing. I feel like I thought I knew the answer, then Akshay said no. Then Nick thought he knew the answer, then Akshay said no. So we've exhausted our clues. It's not Shane Warne. It's not Ricky Ponting. I mean, they've all been winners of the man of the match. But again, good question. Boxing Day related. So let us know right after the show ends. But what we can let you know is that we're going to answer all of your questions right now in the next 5 to 10 minutes to wrap up this episode 59 of MNL in the best of the rest. No, it's not called that. It's called the 12th Man. Right, we'll give it to good to great because he's been absolutely chatty since he's found our channel and he has plenty of questions our way. We'll take the first one saying for the 12th Man segment, guys, I have a gut feeling to play Washi at 3 for at least 2 tests in place of Gill. I trust his technique to play in line with the ball. Panel, your thoughts?
I'll go first with this. Yeah, matlab, it's too risky a choice, especially in the middle of the series. I know Gill hasn't been in the greatest of form, but to have Washi at 3 right now would probably a bit too soon. Sure, it's a fair shout. I wouldn't mind India trying that out at some point in time. Next year they play West Indies at home. That would be a decent enough time to try out Washi at 3 or whatever other experiments they have up their sleeve. वहाँ पे करो. तुम बाहर खेल रहे हो with the WTC final at stake, with the potential overseas series win at stake. I think it's a bit too much of a risk to take. So I wouldn't go with it right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think Gill is your poster boy. Gill is your leap of faith. Gill is your man to do it in all cross conditions, even though outside Asia he's been kind of teetering. But hopefully the MCG and that surface there will bring the best out of Gill. Next, I have one for you, or plenty more actually. And this one comes from Adyan Singhal. He goes on to ask, do these three ducks of Abdullah Shafiq opens up a spot for Babar Azam to come back? Shan opens and Babar at 4. Format mixing is quite common in our part of the world. Do you think Pakistan will do that so close to the Champions Trophy, even though they still play, I think, a tri-series, including New Zealand and South Africa,
New Zealand.
before the
Yeah. Yeah. So they, again, as you know, Avnish, you only said yourself that it's too close to make such a big call, and again, unnecessary. See, again, three ducks is something many people can have, and it's just a fact of you just not even getting in. So there is no form to read into. You're not even getting yourself in. So form kahan se pata chalega aapko? So I feel, as Akshay also said before, back him till Champions Trophy, and then if you want to bin him down, okay, fair enough. But tab tak you'll have to give him that rope because he's earned that rope. So I'll stick with that for now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with those thoughts because you have a look at Abdullah Shafiq, but you also look at Sam Ayub, and sometimes you think, okay, fine, if his opening partner is kind of getting runs and I'm getting stuck, it's only a matter of time that these guys can kind of rub off each other. Tiger Rose had this one throughout the show for Akshay, saying, will Shefali Verma be back for the Island series as she's got 527 runs at a strike rate of 152? The difference between her opening and others is massive. Akshay, your take.
Yeah, Tiger Rose, I mean, it is understandable where you're coming from. She's been phenomenally good in the senior women's ODI trophy. I mean, those numbers speak for themselves. That also includes a fantastic 197 of 111 that she scored today against the very solid Bengal bowling lineup, might I say. It's not one of those, matlab, maar diya, the side isn't the greatest. Nothing. There are no caveats attached to it. So she's easily the best batter in this competition. No two questions about it. But the problem is she's consistently been found out at the international level. Or we need to understand that it's not always that players who do well at in domestic cricket will do well, in international cricket, and vice versa. It's not always the case that players who don't do well in domestic cricket don't have it in them to be able to succeed at the highest level. We've seen instances of that as well. This is why she needs to first work on what her very obvious weaknesses are. The way she plays the incoming delivery, the way she also attacks spin, it's become too obvious a flaw for oppositions to target, which is what's happened. There's the reason why she was axed from the side. ऐसा नहीं था कि एक दो मैच अच्छा नहीं किया तो उनको निकाला गया. She's been woefully out of form in ODIs for the better part of the last 3 years. ये पूरा ODI championship cycle उनका अच्छा नहीं गया था. Barring a 50 or 2, she'd hardly done well. In fact, even in T20s, slight digression, this year was not the greatest. I know numbers might look different. Remove the innings against UAE in the Asia Cup, and the numbers are abysmal. Make no mistake. She's a phenomenal batter. She's a fantastic batter. She's exactly the kind of batter we need at the top, but she's not the answer right now. She needs to change her technique. If anything, I wouldn't mind India probably looking at someone like a Vrinda Dinesh, who herself had a very good season, and she's someone who's worth being given a shot. Because even in the quarterfinal that Karnataka lost to Maharashtra, she was one of the lone warriors at 43 or 41 or something like that. Unka bhi, at least technique-wise, she looks a lot more compact. She also scores runs very briskly. She, in fact, has the highest strike rate this season. Had a strike rate of 153 or 154, if I'm not wrong. She's also scored runs, and that's why I wouldn't mind seeing her. With Shefali, that technique will be found out. And like I said in the last episode of the Cricket Podcast, the downside of an Ireland series is it's a lose-lose situation. You do well, fans like us will say, "Arey, Ireland is how much of weightage can you place on that?" And if you don't do well, Ireland ke samne bhi tum nahi chali. So you can never come out of an Ireland series looking good. So that's why I don't want someone like a Shefali Verma to bear the brunt of it. अच्छा करेगी तो भी लोग गाली देंगे. हाँ, Ireland के सामने मार लो जब अच्छे matches, अच्छे opponents आ जाते हैं तो फिर हार जाती हूँ. So let's not do that, and let's also give her a bit of space. I'd want to see someone like a Vrinda Dinesh being given a chance, but I don't think that'll happen because Pratika Rawal's already come in. Scratchy 40, but 40 runs nonetheless yesterday, so she will be persisted with. So yeah, those are my 2 cents, or probably $2 on Shefali Verma.
That was $300 more than really $2. I mean, you had the women's cricket podcast, but either bhi ghusna hai, but it's good. I love it. Women's onwards and upwards. And Tiger Rose, good comment over you. Brinda Dinesh, we would love for her to go into the Indian team purely because then you can play that interview that I had with her, and that'll have some merit as well. X Factor saying, hi guys, love you all, join late today. I know it's like an elongated show, but look, more the merrier for you guys. Sense the pun there with Christmas around. Parth saying, what is your take on the recent comments by the MC official on Shaw? I'll take this one because I actually read this earlier today. Jatin Paranjpe, the former Mumbai cricketer, has come out and he's not held back in his comments. So what the MCA official had this to say, right, about Prithvi Shaw, quote unquote. He said Prithvi Shaw missed training sessions regularly during SMAT as he would enter the hotel at 6 a.m. after being out at night. Everyone has given him the inputs. We cannot babysit him. No one is Shaw's enemy. He's his own enemy. Now, this is the MCA official speaking to the PTI. Then Jatin Paranjpe, who's a really big voice in the Mumbai cricket circle, saying, these are such loose comments from sources within the MCA, which is truly unfortunate. Looks like they're not interested in helping Shaw out. What do they mean by babysit? This will definitely be his last season as a Mumbai player. He did play the SMAT. He scored 197 runs in 9 innings. He didn't play the Vijay Hazare, or he's not played it yet. Many people are pointing vociferously to his outside world of or the off-field display and what he's been doing. I think they also went on to criticize his fitness, discipline, attitude. I think the official also said they're playing with 10 fielders and they were forced to hide Prithvi Shaw. Like, these are crazy words being said by associations about their players and so on and so forth. Let me know what you guys think in the comments as well, but that's the news of Prithvi Shaw. Let me just give Nick's...
Also, just one more thing, while Avnish keeps searching for the next comments, like, not just him, even Shreyas Iyer, when he was asked about the Vijay Hazare squad, he also had something similar to say. Like, we've already had conversations with him. We've already given him, a plan in terms of what needs to be done so that he gets his fitness in order. He becomes a lot more valuable to the side. But there's only so much that can be done. Like my mom used to say every day in my childhood, we can only घोड़े को हम सिर्फ पानी दिखा सकते हैं, पानी उसी को पीना. And that's the case at the end of the day. And we need to understand the reason why I would still live with him being unfit. Rohit Sharma, Inzamam, we've seen a lot of sort of visually who don't necessarily look fit players do well. That's something I can live with. But that attitude, we've heard of that cliche, right? Like, a rotten apple spoils the bunch, and you can't take that risk, especially at this level. All the players are impressionable, and Prithvi Shaw is a star in his own right. With so many youngsters coming in, it might potentially, sort of influence other players in the wrong direction, and then that becomes a problem for the whole setup. So it's not that you can just look at him in isolation and let go of it. So we need to see where they're coming from, and I do agree, why this has happened.
First floor, Swiggy. Sorry, my dinner's arrived. We've gone over for the first floor, boss. Anyway, next, I have one question for you, actually a little bit more than just one, and we'll wrap up proceedings. There was a cause of concern from one of these guys saying, where was it? There's something about Siraj and Prasid. MCG, where was that one? Basically, the question was, Santosh Sharpa. MCG has been in the lower scoring side in Sheffield Shield. Do you see Prasid coming for Siraj just in terms of the bounce and the variety he brings in this attack?
No, because I think this is the venue where Siraj came through. And Siraj has gradually looked better in terms of if you compare spells like that. The thing that I hope Siraj can continue to do well is try and hit those lanes very, very early. Now, Prasid is going to give you the hit the deck option. With Siraj, you will get good length bowling at all times. Now, Prasid is the risk. If they want to take, they can go down their route. But with Akashdeep finally coming well, I think you might want to just continue with Siraj and then see how he goes accordingly. Maybe if you want to change, do it for Sydney, which may be slow or even low if it is spinning. But again, weather is something that you can't control. So for now, I'll back Siraj, as we've all said, most likely unchanged team. Bounce hota hai MCG mein, but seam is something that usually does the job for you. And I genuinely hope that this is the game. This is the annual Siraj spell that we see, hopefully, at the MCG.
Absolutely. I think he has to do an encore of 2020. He got a fifer, he got key wickets, he didn't get cheap wickets. So Siraj thrives in the MCG and he just needs to look at his past performance in this track. Akshay, a wider one for all of us. Riyan Panapa asked this earlier in the program. What changes to the Indian Test squad would you like to see now, given that we need a new spine? Obviously, we want to see certain players moved up, but question is who comes in and who are the long-term bets? Do they go back and take a U-turn on Shreyas Iyer? Do you like what you see in, say, the youngster Mushir Khan, who has shown his capacity in terms of the longer format back home? Or do you see someone like Ishwaran, even though he's an opener, again, being used as spare wheel like KL Rahul? So who is the spine that Rehan wants to see or you want to see?
Sai Sudarshan will be one of the first names I want Team India to try as soon as possible. He's this is again personal opinion, but according to me, he is by far the best option available. After the first 11 choices यहाँ पे जो खेले उनके अलावा जो domestic circuit में bat करते हैं, he's easily the best option out there. I would want them to go to him as soon as possible, and he's probably the only batter I'd be willing to wage a bet on come the England series. If there's one batter I wouldn't mind making his debut in that tour, it'll be Sai Sudarshan. I don't know who else can actually go there and do well, but with Sai Sudarshan, मेरे को तो confidence है. Will he actually do it or not is a completely different thing. Apart from that, at the very least, I just want a certain structure in place where, like we said way too many times earlier, थोड़ा weightage देना शुरू करो रणजी ट्रॉफी को, and it's a systemic change. I'm not talking about this player, that player, that Sai Sudarshan, one name. Apart from that, not too many names that I want to take. I just want them to understand how they want to use the system, what the feeder system is going to look like, what the pathway to Team India, to being handed a test cap looks like. Right now, it's very skewed. It's very complicated, very messy, where players from the IPL get through to the India and get through to Team India, and it shouldn't be the case. तो पहले वो एक उनको टीम ठीक करना पड़ेगा. It'll take a spine. It'll take a proper solid stance from Gambhir, from the think tank, because given how big and massive IPL is, there are always going to be a lot of eyeballs on those batters. So it's going to be that much more difficult for these selectors, for the management to back someone. Even if Gambhir likes a certain someone, the whole media would not have seen them, and then that becomes a completely different issue and all of that. So I want them to be able to change that in the first place. But yeah, in terms of names, Sai Sudarshan is probably the only name I can think of. Baki to yeah, bowling mein hai bhai, bowling mein Mukesh Kumar, please give him more chances, yaar. I really hope he gets the chances he deserves. Harshit Rana, I'll once again say that I understand where they came from when he was handed a debut. Now that it's not worked out, let him spend more time at the domestic circuit. Please, Mukesh Kumar ko consistently और मौके देते रहो. I want the pecking order to look somewhat like, assuming Shami won't be fit, I'm not considering Shami in this argument. Bumrah, Siraj, Akashdeep, Mukesh Kumar and Nitish Kumar Reddy को भी मैं मतलब all round है तो उनको यहाँ पे सीधा गिनना will be difficult. But these four in this order, and then maybe Prasidh Krishna, but it has to be these four in this order for me. And I really hope Mukesh Kumar gets more chances for India in red ball cricket.
The thing is with this Indian Test team, look, they play England next, so again they might just be picking horses for courses. We'll only find out in a year's time when they play the next set of tests in the WTC cycle in terms of what is the spine going to be. But some fantastic questions to come through on this 12th man today. Pavan Sare saying, would you go with two spinners at the MCG? I mean, someone insinuated in the chat saying bat Washi up instead of Gill, and then you have Jadeja as well as there. I don't think India will do that. They'll have Jadeja as holding role. I think both teams will have just one spinner. And that's just my take on it. Next, why don't you take this one from Karthik saying, with Shami not fit, can we expect Bhuvi back for the Champions Trophy and Arshdeep with his good T20 performances?
Should I say tell me you're an RCB fan without telling me you're an RCB fan? Yeah, I don't know who Karthik is. So I mean, who Karthik supports. So
no, but Karthik bhai, एक thing is, if we are not wanting selectors to mix formats, why should we mix formats? So just to add to the point that Akshay made about the previous question before that, India has to start looking for swing bowlers. Where is the last one? Which is the last one? Everybody is a swing bowler. So there are quite a few swing bowlers out there in the system. We'll have to start designating the order, as Akshay said. I would go further and say Seam bowling options 1, 2, 3. Swing bowling options 1, 2, 3. You need to start doing that as well with your Test cricket because you're getting beaten by swing very early and very often now. You've seen that in Adelaide, you've seen that elsewhere as well as in England. You are taking Asdeep name, but Asdeep, actually, I would not mind Asdeep in England because he predominantly holds very full and can swing the ball. So I would want that preference also to be given. And to the one name that I would want to add, that I want to see, and that is Rinku Singh. Rinku Singh Whites will be very good.
Okay, keep that in mind as well. Rinku Singh has shown decent pedigree in terms of being a white ball player, but even in the red ball scheme of things domestically, he's pretty sound in terms of his defensive technique and all of that. Yeah, Bevan Jacobs did get a call up, Sachin. Thank you for that reminder. Your recent take in the comments, sure, we did take that right now, but and there was one more from, I think, who was it? Just a while ago. Danopali saying, do you guys see Jaiswal Gill return in the T20 scheme of things against England? I don't think so.
Last T20 India played? Acha, South Africa. Who opened?
Bangladesh, right? Oh, I mean, yeah, South Africa.
Sanju and
Abhishek.
Yeah, there's Sanju and Abhishek. I think it'll still be Sanju and Abhishek for this as well. I don't think they will tinker that much with
I think Gambhir should start doing this immediately, that there is no need to play everybody everywhere. Just fixed formats of very massive Champions Trophies coming up. So just focus on that. If they're thinking of Jaiswal as an option long term, theek hai, to fir then get Abhishek out and open with Jaiswal and Sanju. Jo bhi hai, but just be very sure in your mind.
Okay. Marco, I think this man writes from Norway, and he asking Akshay tonight, does Jack getting dropped from the England setup validate RCB letting him go?
Arey, let's not look too much into it, yeah. Like, please, it's not like I mean, it's very cute of all of us and a lot of people online as well to think that England Cricket Board selections के time देख रहा है इनकी IPL team कौन सी है? No, absolutely not. Firstly, no, and secondly, even with this Marco, no, yeah. Like, how is this a barometer of anything? Like, sure, England setter maybe wanted a left-hander, maybe wanted someone who bowls left-arm spin. Maybe that was the thought process behind, having Bethel over Jacks. There's so many other factors that might have gone into it. So let's not read too much into it. As much as I, as an RCB fan, want to feel validated about it, it makes little to no sense to look at that. Baki bas dekho Bethel, let's hope he does well. Not just from that IPL lens, but in general, youngster, he's looked very exciting. And yeah, I'm always up for seeing oppositions do well against India in India because that doesn't happen often enough. So मजा आएगा देखने में क्या होता है वहाँ पे.
Okay, super. I think it's time to wrap up proceedings of this Monday Night Live episode 57, beg your pardon, 59. We're in touching distance of 2025. We're also in touching distance of episode 60, where we'll see you all next week, 30th December. Remember the last MNL, we had a lot of fun. And the first MNL of 2024, we did it on that Monday. But this time, it's not going to be a Monday. It's going to be a Wednesday, according to the calendar. Next, Akshay, thank you for your time. Have a great Christmas, all you lovers of the festivities, some cake and wine, some wishes coming true, some songs being sung, some masses being attended. I don't know. Whatever it is you guys are doing Christmas, amazing. Boys, I'll see you guys soon. Waking up early this week again with all the early starts. We'll love it, or we'll loathe it, but we'll try to do it equally. Like this video before we sign off, guys, because I know there's just about 450-500 of y'all who've just watched this, and I know it'll catch up at the end of this week. But Monday Night Live, please show us some love and subscribe right now. We're about 60 away from 101k. Do that as well. Well, I press the end stream button and put a good night's show to a 2-hour, 18-minute long MNL. Brilliant. That's all we have time for. Cheers.